another one time. It's the family bloodline.
What's good, good people? We are back for another episode of the Family Bloodline Podcast. As always, you got Jay Glass, you got Rich. Deuce is on his way. He'll be on in probably 30. We're expecting a few more guests if they can make it on to see what's going on with them, while they're in the travels, or they may be caught up doing something else. I'm not sure, but long story short, we would definitely have more folks to join if they want to join. If you want to join out there, you have every ability to. All you have to do is come look at us, come join us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and I have the link posted. Or you can simply go to YouTube and look under the Family Bloodline Podcast, and you'll see us. We got the orange headphones coming through. So if you have something to say, what's going on, what's good with it? Zen Edits. If you got something to say about the topic, by all means, come and hop on and give your opinion. And let's see what we get. Let's see what we got. Again, that's the Family Bloodline on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and everything else that we got out there. So come join us. We are here today or tonight or this evening, whatever it is, whatever time it is for you. We are going to be talking about deportations. Who, where, and we will be kind of like chopping it up about the legality behind it all. Appreciate the likes. Keep it up. Get me up there. Have people come in, hop in, so they can tell us what they think about it. All right, we're all for it. Before we get too much further into the program, into the show, I need to make sure I read our disclaimer, as always, for Wednesday nights. The disclaimer states, the views expressed are those held by the author and do not represent any other organization, company, corporation, or entity. So that way, it's not confused or debated on what's being said and who it represents, so on and so forth. It is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Hey, Steph and Lynn, welcome on. Good to see y'all, family. Good to see y'all. Y'all are right on time. We just getting started. We are just getting started. And we finna be out here in these streets, either upsetting people or bringing people together. One of the two. So with that being said, I will ask a quick normal question so we can get the niceties out the way before we jump into the topic of the evening. And the niceties, as always, is how's everybody been doing this week so far? Rich?
I'm good.
Any new developments?
No.
Court.
Well, I was supposed to have court tomorrow. 4 different issues. The judge decided that when he postponed the hearings from April 16th to May 8th, that he would also delay it again on his own accord to June 3rd.
Why have there been so many delays? What's that about?
Not a clue.
All right. I guess it's a thing for now, and we'll figure it out in the wash. We will figure it out in the wash. Steph and Lynn, how have you all been, family? How's your week been since the last time we spoke? Y'all got to take yourselves off mute. You're on mute right now. You still there? It's the little microphone on your thumbnail picture. There you go. We got you now.
I thought you
Yeah.
heard us earlier.
Me too.
No, I
We
was
had
reading
some
the.
great stuff. We said some great stuff. You
Oh man. Oh, that's how it
Oh.
always goes.
We were saying how to rich and everything. I was cracking
Oh,
jokes.
oh man. I apologize.
No worries.
That was our bad.
No, well, today was really good, but yeah, I was asking, what's today? Today's only Wednesday. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got coverage for a organ transplant recipient, which in the world of insurance is very difficult to do because life insurance companies can't predict how long an organ transplant recipient is going to live. So that was a nice big W for us today. And we helped 3-4 families. So that's one day, but it's been a crazy week.
Where'd he go?
And it's Wednesday. I don't know where he went. Where'd he go?
Uh-oh.
Oh, he
There
changed
he is.
positions. He changed positions. Did you hear? Did you miss what we said?
We got to say it over.
I heard you.
I got you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my browser right now, but you know.
And
That's-
you got your camera lens on your camera.
It switched on me, so I got to switch it back. For some reason, my other camera disconnected, and it switched to something else. And I don't want to use the camera on my computer. So give me 1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
Look, take two.
All right. We'll keep the party going. So, how were you able, if you can hear me? I know I'm somewhat echo. It sounds like I'm out in the distance. So, to get that done.
Oh well, Steph and I have relationships with 36 different insurance carriers. So that allows us to find the carriers that are open to getting this done. Now there's a compromise in the coverage in that it's not the full death benefit is not available in the first 2 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is if the person passes away in the first 2 years, the beneficiary would receive all of the premium back.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 10%. So it's like a 10% savings account.
Okay.
If you think of it that way.
And where can you find a 10% savings account?
Richard, where can you find a 10% savings account?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. He's looking up in the sky.
No, I was thinking about some CDs, but they go only to like 3 or 4.
Right.
So.
It don't exist.
We can see your mind working.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe there's a CD out there. It was one CD that does that. But
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. And this, this also helps us with the folks that always tell us that they could I could just save that money in the bank. No, you can't.
No.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
You put it in there in May, but guess what's going to happen in June?
Not you.
That trip, look, that summer trip or that handbag or those strappy sandals or something
Stop.
is going to happen, and that money going to come right back out.
Yeah.
So that's that's those are the types of conversations we have to have with our clients. And you got people paying for prom versus paying their premium.
Stop.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So
It don't stop.
Oh
So-
my gosh. Yeah.
but after all that, it's still great. It's great business. We love to do it because we're making a difference every single day.
Yep. It's right when things seem to get like redundant, or you're just waiting for people to call you back or answer the phone, then you start not doubting, but just being worn down a bit.
Yeah.
Then purpose shows up, because today one of our clients was actually terminated from one of her many jobs. Remember on in Living Color when they were like, "You're Jamaican, man. You only have 2 jobs. You gotta have like 3 jobs." She had several jobs, but her main job is a nurse. And it was just funny because she was like, "Oh, they just fired me, and I got my attorney on speed dial." Blah 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 blah. She's like, "I'm on my way to work because I got to work tonight." We was like, "Well, how many jobs you got?"
They get it in.
But I'll tell you the one of the pieces of that story is she said, "I need to get some life insurance because I lost my insurance through that job." Said, so I gotta, make sure that if I'm ever in between jobs, I have coverage outside of employment
for me and my kids.
because that coverage is gone.
Yep.
And she's got 4 kids, and so it's and we talk about the people that tell us, "Oh, I have insurance at work." We talk about that all the time because in my 33 years, I've seen very few people die in their working years. So that coverage is dirt cheap at work, but it's not enough, and it's probably not going to result in a claim of any real value.
Yeah, and we recently had was it Life Insurance Day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Friday,
May 2nd. Was that?
Yeah, Friday, May 2nd.
Friday, May 2nd. I wanted to hop on, but I can't remember. I don't know if I took last Friday. No, I have students this week. And so I took a second to rest and recuperate before.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What ages?
They're adult learners. They're so
good.
You would think, but they still come with their own set of challenges.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So, but I think I took Friday just to rest because I had to go up to Ohio on Saturday.
Oh,
yeah.
You tried?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Derby?
I did not. I did.
Oh man, because the guys are wearing hats too now. They all fly.
Yeah.
You could have just wore your family bloodline hat and been right in,
I know. I would have been pressed. I would have been pressed, but yeah.
It rained though, so you didn't miss it, I guess.
Oh, it rained a ton. It rained a ton. I missed the winner, the great
Sovereignty.
Yeah, it was crazy coming from the
beat out journalism.
Say again.
Journalism was the favorite.
Is that the name of the other horse that was the favorite?
The horse that came in second. The horse that came in second was journalism, but Sovereignty edged them out.
Yeah, craziness.
And it was funny. They said every horse was the same color at the end of the race because they all were full of mud. They had mud everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to hang on a little bit. Deuce was he's delayed tonight, which is fine. Work and duty called. So we're gonna press forward. We are still going to press forward in our own way and fashion, and he will be able to catch up and give his input on all the topics when he gets in. That's the transition music. I got you. It's transition music. I saw you look over. I saw you look over. So for the first part of the discussion, as a reminder, we're talking about all things deportations. Who, where, and are they legal? And so for the first subtitle, deportations, first question is who? Who can be deported at this point? I made a statement a while ago about the state that we're in now as Americans. And I told everybody that there are no more rules. There are no more rules. So with there being no more rules, it's hard to gauge what is actually legal, where the rule of law lay and lands, and how it's going to be applied, when and where it's going to be applied, and if it's actually going to be applied appropriately or not. So again, talking about deportations, who can be deported? Who can be deported? My cousin Michelle said anybody.
Anybody.
Yes.
Michelle, everybody, right? Everybody.
Because you know what I still don't know?
What's that?
If the guy that got sent to El Salvador, was it a mistake or was it deserved?
So
I heard both stories from both, from different angles and whatever. I still don't know if his, who's calling it a mistake. And another thing I don't know, did the 9-0 verdict by the Supreme Court, was that in his favor or against him?
okay.
Because
both things have been said.
Was fake. They
So-
said that they put that on his hand.
It was
Mr. Garcia, this I know well.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia is the
Right. He got sent to El Salvador, back to El Salvador.
Mhm.
He came to the country illegally. He claimed that he was running from gangs.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he was discovered he was here illegally, he fought in court. And the judge, I think it was in 2019, said, I believe that what you're telling me about if you go back to your home country, you could be assaulted by gang violence. You can stay. I'm giving you a protective order. Donald Trump's reelected president. He's trying to run anybody who's here illegally out of the country. His people grabbed Mr. Garcia, sent him back. Mr. Garcia's wife obtained a lawyer. They fought, went to the United States Supreme Court, 9-0. The Supreme Court said that Mr. Garcia could stay here because he had a protective order. Please return him back to America. President Trump said, why should I? He's affiliated with gangs. That was never proven. His people say that he is gang related. He wears the colors or the gear.
Bull's hat. And a bull's hat.
Mm-hmm, correct. So that was never proven. And then he had the president of El Salvador come, and El Salvador said, why should I return him back? That's, Hollywood politics. Will Mr. Garcia be returned back? Well, who knows what President Trump's going to do, because he said that he's going to get tough on China with the tariffs, and then he backed down.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 minute, I believe that President Trump is the greatest European American to ever arrive in the country. The next minute, he has me doubting his supremacy. I'm confused because I believe that we should protect our country. But if you're going to act tough and impose tariffs, then impose them and let us deal with the consequences.
And be consistent.
Be consistent in your madness or your righteousness. With Mr. Garcia, if you sent him back and he was here with a protective order to stay, regardless of how he got here, then you shouldn't have made a rush decision and sent him back, even though you got elected to be tough on illegal immigration. That's it.
So the overarching who wasn't really answered. You did address, however, Lynn's.
People who look like Mr. Garcia.
Is that it though?
Well, Deuce said there were some Europeans. 7?
Wasn't there some Haitians too that were deported and some
Oh,
Africans?
we'll get to,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it was some Haitians and Africans deported
Yeah.
in the first round of this mess too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
Oh, they going. So, but there were seven or either 30 or 7 Europeans. That number stands out. Now, the other numbers are so big, they don't stand out. So if you're here illegally, President Trump campaigned that if you were here illegally and you were a criminal, he was coming for you. Fair enough. And everybody said, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's coming for you, he's basically saying, Pedro, if you're hanging with Jaime, and Jaime's also here illegally,
gotta
but
use
he's not a criminal, but you're hanging with him at Home Depot because you're supporting the agriculture and the building of all these homes all across America and home repairs all across America. I'm going to get you up out of here too.
yeah. Did you see this I guess, well, the story about how they ICE went after the guys fixing on a house on a roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just went in. It's like, okay, so these are criminals. They up here, they working.
Not criminals.
No,
Illegals.
Yes,
but we're supposed to be
criminals.
targeting
The criminals.
We're supposed to be targeting the criminal illegals.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Republican talking point is this: if you come to America illegally, you're a criminal. That's their talking point. Now, if you ask me to look up real quickly the definition of a criminal, it would say probably breaking laws, American law, state
The
law.
gang members raping people and all this stuff that he has, spewed out of his mouth, saying these are the people that we're coming for, and then it's somebody working in the yard. What are you doing?
So please define to me, or I can look it up, what a criminal is.
Well, what I was about to say is, first off, when he was describing that, he was describing his ancestors. That's the first thing. The second thing is, yeah, I wanted to put that out there. But the second thing is, they don't know if they're criminals or not because no one's getting their due process. You can't figure out who a criminal is if they're not being properly tried to investigate whether or not they're a criminal.
Yeah.
So crossing the border does not make a person a criminal. It either makes them a refugee, undocumented immigrant, but it doesn't necessarily speak to any type of criminality of the person in its.
Hold on. That's real smooth how you said that. Let's
Thank
go back for a second.
Yeah, that's why his name Jay Glass. It should be Jay Smooth.
I know I'm talking to a fellow Gemini. Let me go back here for a second.
It's three.
Right.
A person, it says, now, wait a minute. Let me state this. I'm reading off the internet.
Okay.
I'm reading at a source off the internet. This source says a person who has committed a crime or been found guilty of committing a crime.
Exactly.
Okay. So what is a crime? If you say that if you come to America illegally, but you haven't been given your due process to say, hey, I'm an illegal alien, or I'm seeking political asylum, or any of those types of issues, does that really make me a criminal? Have I committed a criminal act by coming to the country illegally?
That does not make you a criminal.
Well, especially a country full of immigrants, but okay, but yeah, legal. You're supposed to be legal. Are you here on a visa or anything? Are you here, with the education? My question is, when he met with the president, was that of El Salvador?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they were talking about, oh yeah, and you can take all the rest of these too over there to your jail. So it just muddies the waters on what.
Yeah, when he's talking about bad Americans.
Yeah.
Bad citizens.
Like what is really going on?
Now that he's wrong on that. Clearly.
Well, again.
And in front of us. It's like smoking in front of the kids, drinking in front of the kids. It's like what?
Well, that's a part of it. First off, I need to also point this out. I don't take serious the words of a felon when they're talking about or referring to what's legal and what's illegal.
Yeah, what's a crime? Hold on, you forgot 34. 34.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Now,
Okay.
See, this is what this is when you talk about this president, it's tricky. Some things I agree with him on, and some things I don't agree with him on.
Do you agree that he has 34?
No, I don't agree with that at all.
Do you agree when the judicial branch?
No, I do not. Because when the judicial, because
let me ask you this. Do you agree with the ruling, even though it might not be favorable at the end of the day? And will you not only will you uphold the ruling of a court once it's been made and rendered, regardless of whether you agree with it or not?
Sure, I'm gonna respect the law, but what I'm gonna say is this: a lot of black men have been convicted of crimes, have gone to prison, and then have been exonerated 25, 30 years later. So with that being in mind,
34? Richard.
34,
No. You got one black man that got exonerated for 34.
It's a lot that have been
34,
incriminated, but not a lot that have
counts?
been exonerated.
No, what I'm saying is, when you look at the numbers for those who were on death row who've been exonerated, more than half of them are black men. So just because the court convicts you of something, I've been told that I'm guilty of things and I wasn't guilty of them. So just because a person is convicted, yes, I'm going to respect the law, but I'm going to say that I do not believe that them 34 felony accounts against this current president was correct. He was politically prosecuted, persecuted.
Not
I
at the
believe in that strongly.
not
In
at the
fact, I believe in that so strongly, even though I didn't vote for him, I believe in that strongly. And obviously, 50.1% of America felt the same way because he won not just the electoral college, but he won the popular vote too, which hadn't been done by a Republican in many, many, many years. So a
No.
lot of people felt the same way as I.
those two don't correlate. Just because
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Just because that there's no direct correlation. Just because people elect a guilty person doesn't mean that he's all of a sudden not guilty.
That's not what I said. I said a lot of people felt like me that he was persecuted for no reason.
So
And in fact, he was persecuted so strongly that they tried to keep him off the ballot. And the United States Supreme Court, just like it did on this deportation of Mr. Garcia, they said 9-0, put his name on the ballot because they
let the people decide.
I want to point something out, and I said this once before because this continues to happen, right? Donald Trump, President Trump was not persecuted. President Trump was
Prosecuted.
Yeah.
He was prosecuted. The definition of persecution is hostility and ill treatment, especially on the basis of ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation or political beliefs. He was not tried on the basis of political belief. He was tried for financial wrongdoing.
Hold on a second.
Documented.
Wait a minute. No. Because what he did was what every real estate developer does. They go out. Yes. In fact, listen to this.
I can ride on that. But hold on, Lynn. I can ride with him on that. But that doesn't mean if you get put in the court system that it's legal.
Richard, if they do it, hold on, Richard. Let me ask: if they do it and they get caught, do they have to face a criminal situation? And the answer is yes.
I would say to you this. There's a person on TV who I don't even care for. His name is Mr. O'Leary of Shark Tank.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to come on.
Don't do it. No, the one that everybody hates because he should not. He's irresponsible for saying that.
Yes.
That's like me saying every life insurance agent lies about whether you smoke or not smoke.
No. Well, no.
That doesn't make it right.
Hold on. I didn't say that he used the word lie. What he basically said is the manner and how Mr. Trump, the businessman, did his finances in regards to his development. He says we all do it like that. It's up to the bank to be responsible enough to say, hey, if you're asking for, I don't know, 10 million, because you said that's what the building's worth, and the bank does its own due diligence and said the building that you're building is only worth 7. We're not giving you 10, we're giving you 7. So when you talk about this particular president, he's so divisive. Because look, what he does is he allows the whole country to be exposed from our foundation. So when Black America said years ago, we are divided, the world said, maybe. But now, well, I'm just saying the rest of the world said maybe. But now, after the election of a Black man 2 consecutive terms, now all the truth on what Black America had been saying from the very beginning when we were enslaved, now it's all out in the open now. And so whether it's race, whether it's deportations, whether it's the tariffs, no matter what this person does, the president, the whole country is split on every single thing he does, 50-50.
Not 50-50.
Especially
not anymore. You got a lot of those people that voted for him saying, can I get a do-over?
Yeah.
Because I got caught up. Because I got caught up in it.
A mullet.
You know, because you have people that are in the deporting target range. They thought only, like I'm Cuban, I think other the Cuban criminals, the Cuban mafia is getting deported, but my illegal Cuban familia, we're going to be straight because we haven't committed any crimes. And they're finding out slowly, but surely, that that's not the case. That's what, you know, that's what we're watching happening.
Unfold. Yeah.
Well, here's when it's going to get crazy.
Okay.
When Jamal from the projects gets deported, first of all, where they even going to send him? But he might send him to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Because that's his new spot.
Yeah.
But when Jamal Smith from the projects gets deported, which I would not be shocked or surprised at all.
It's like we waiting on, like,
you know,
how can we get in front of this?
Then what?
Because there aren't any rules. There aren't any rules.
I will say this. I keep see me looking at paperwork.
Yeah.
So the numbers here do justify what you're saying. How popular? Well, wait a minute. Off this particular poll, off the internet, if we trust the internet,
what's the source? What's the source?
Yeah.
It is
Good question.
The Economist. So the Economist says, how popular is Donald Trump April 29th, 2025? To back up what you say, 53% disapprove of him. Okay.
It's getting larger. It's getting larger.
It is.
Because historically, they said he has the worst first 100 days in 80 years.
Contrary to what we saw on the news, but
so
we like your shoes. You wore
that
the
was
best
his
shoes
cabinet.
today.
His cabinet was lined up to lick his boots.
But I'm not here
people,
but I'm not here to defend him or support him.
Sure.
Because I have friends on both sides who are passionate, who will.
I got day ones of the Trumpsters.
I'm telling you, I'll be like, is that your day one?
The country is so, but whether it's Trump, whether it's racism, whether it's DEI, no matter what we talk about in this country, whether it's the vaccinations, the COVID, no matter what we talk about, this country is split.
Well, there's a specific reason.
But it's not even. That's all.
Yeah,
it's not an even split.
It's not an even.
It's probably 60-40. It's not 50-50.
Not anymore.
No. I don't think it ever was.
How did he won the popular vote? He won all the swing states. He
because you know what? Because and I have this thing. I'm gonna send it to you, Jay. Where they had 3 different categories of voters: people who voted Republican, people who voted Democrat, and people who didn't vote at all.
Oh, we saw one today on the
people who didn't vote at all.
Yeah.
In the last 20 elections, only in one case was the biggest group. It was Biden instead of didn't vote at all. So what I'm saying is you have a whole bunch of people who are eligible to cast a vote who once again didn't vote. In my opinion, most of those people are thinking there's no way he wins again.
Right.
So I don't even have to go vote, which is what I think happened the first time. Because I'd have bet my life he wouldn't have won in 16.
Yeah, I'm still.
And he won. But here's another thing. Here's another indictment about this country. Notice he's 2-0 versus women.
Yeah.
But when he went up against another white man, what happened?
Now, that's a great point. I would have taken that bet from you in 2016 because I bet that he was going to win in 2016. But let's go to the women thing. Because our country still has a problem with women in power.
Yes, they do.
Now, as great as some people said President Obama was, Hillary Clinton should have been running in 2008, period. But he beat her out. Was it because he was a man?
Part of it.
Fair enough. All right.
Just because he was a man, some of it just because he was a black man.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So everybody thought that was going to be a huge accomplishment because if he had just won one term, we wouldn't have President Trump. But this particular black man, as a certain black minister, the honorable one would say, a light-skinned Negro without a Negro dialect.
Well,
I'm not going to say his name because I want to make sure that Mr. Glass can keep his podcast up. So, in other words, we got the almost perfect black man to run. Half black, half white. Deal. Let's go. Put him in. But he won 2 straight terms. So it wasn't a fluke. And if I'm a white person who's half prejudice, not racist, half prejudice.
Is that what they say that?
I think I'm half prejudiced And every time I turn on TV, I see a black woman sleeping with the president. I see black folks rapping. Now they throwing the football around there, the quarterback. Oh my God, I'm losing my.
Don't forget the cereal commercials.
Let me stop right there. But if I'm white and I'm half prejudiced, and all these black people keep showing up and showing out, and then telling me, Mr. Glass, oh, I want my slave reparations. Oh, hell no. We've got to make America great again.
Well, and
I'm looking at it from their standpoint.
I
So
can't.
we're going to run out every illegal person, even if they haven't had any trial or not. And you're right, they should have their due process.
Hearing. They should have a hearing.
Hearing.
Trial is
right. Their due process, their hearing.
Yeah.
So they should have that. And the United States Supreme Court will put its foot down. But they have to do it and still appease the president. So when you say, Mr. Glass,
They can't anymore. They can't appease the president anymore because
yes, they can. Yes,
they can't.
Listen, they did it because they wanted to keep his name. If Colorado had been able to keep his name off the ballot in that state, oh, here come the rest. So the United States Supreme Court, for the glory or for the money, to keep America unified, because we could have had a race war. So they had to go 9-0. They couldn't make it a political decision. They had to go 9-0 that we will have bipartisanship on the Supreme Court, Republican and Democrat, put him on the ballot.
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That part I'm not debating. That part I'm not debating. I think it was a horrible decision, but they made it, right? But what I'm saying now is because of the way the administration has begun to attack judges at this point, they have to collectively begin to band together and make sure that they can maintain the power that they are granted by the Constitution, right? Because what people continue to forget for some reason is that these three branches have an equal amount of power. It might be spread through different things and it's placed in checks and balances, but the executive branch is not more powerful than the judiciary, which is not more powerful than Congress, right?
They're pretending they are.
They are
absolutely behaving like they are.
I'm glad you said that about the judges, because at first I thought that it was mainly here locally in Texas, this attack, in my opinion, on these judges. And we have quite a few Black female judges.
Mm-hmm. Now, listen,
a lot of them are Republican, honestly.
Well, listen, if you say legally all three should be equal to prevent one particular branch from getting
checks and balances,
checks and balances. Here's my thing. I am the president of a union, and because I'm dealing with a corrupt union that ran me out of office, and I'm dealing with a corrupt judge who has no accountability, he runs against no competition, he gets reelected. There's no accountability for his actions until it goes up to the appeals court. They are also, quote, a political situation. Because I'm in the state of California. If you're not blue, you're not true in this state.
Sure.
And the one thing I'm trying to be true about is to the blue, the red, and everybody else that I represent in this union. I'm dealing with a corrupt judicial system, but I've already dealt with a corrupt judicial system when I caught a felony case years ago. So when President Trump says, hey, we need to make some of these judges accountable. Now, if there had been a white president from back in the past, they would have said, oh, all you judges down in Mississippi, all that racism going on down there, and you are allowing it to happen, oh, we're going to hold you accountable. But they didn't. Unless it went to a civil rights situation and went to the United States Supreme Court, and then you get what you get. So
I'm gonna need cousin to unpack that.
Huh?
I'm gonna need my cousin to unpack that.
So what I'm simply saying is this: if the president's a Democrat and he doesn't get what he wants from the judges, they talk a gang of stuff to put the pressure on the judges. The Republicans do the same thing. So both parties play by the same rules. In fact, let me show you. Hold on. Let me show you the bipartisan support they have for each other. If I came up right now and said, well, hey, I'm a trillionaire and I want to run people because we're going to have term limits in the federal government, those two houses and those two different parties would come together so quick and put the end to me.
Yeah, but I think you're saying things that are similar, but they're not the same, right? For instance, I can't draw the correlation between the disappointment with the Democratic Party when it comes to the judges versus the Republican Party, or I don't even want to call it the Republican Party. I will call it the MAGA movement.
No, Republican.
I think there's a difference. There is a difference, if you ask me.
But
there's
not
a
on the
difference.
ballot. It's not. You don't
Yeah,
see MAGA on the ballot. You see Republican.
No, yeah,
that-
you don't see that. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not to say that the Republican branch isn't complicit in the foolishness that's happening, right? Because they're trying to maintain power. But what I will say, however, is I haven't seen or heard in recent years, the past couple of decades, any Democratic president calling for the removal of federal judges because they don't agree with the things that they've said.
Okay. Yes. That's good.
Especially when he was running. Remember when he was running and they were trying to make sure to get these votes in to make sure they had a majority.
In the
Yeah,
House?
Republican, judges. That was just so crazy, you know. And I mean, it was blatant. It was not hidden. Everybody knew what the agenda was, and that was the whole controversy over everything.
Yeah.
But that last race in Wisconsin, where Elon Musk paid people out of his pocket
$1
for
million
their
bucks.
votes, and they still lost.
Right.
You know, and the Democratic judge was still victorious. So, you know, this is what we have. This is where we are, and you can complain, or you can make the adjustment.
Yeah.
Here's the pushback. Here's what the Republicans do on a pushback. When you said that no Democrats have asked for the removal of judges, then the Republicans would push back and say no Republicans have ever asked to have somebody's name removed from the ballot. So when you say that, you say, oh, they're different. Their methods may be a little different, but the overall result is I want to dictate the terms. Both have been guilty of gerrymandering districts.
And that part I won't disagree with you on. Again, I will always and continuously say that neither one of these parties have a monopoly over racism, right? I won't say that because I know I got the history of both of them, but I'll check the history of them not trying to remove people from the ballot because Sister Chisholm, Sharpton, and multiple other hell, they didn't even want, even when he was running for them, Herman Cain. They didn't want him on the ballot. Like, make no mistake about it. And he forced and paid his way through. Rest in peace. But that's how he ended up as getting as far as he did, because he had the financial backing to do it, right? And they kind of forgot about the skin color in place of the green dollar. But at the end of the day, they didn't want him on that ticket. And some of them were outwardly saying that he should not be a part of their ticket. And that's the actual part and truth about that.
Well, wait a minute. There are different factions within the Republican Party. There's different factions within the Democratic Party. So you know, the bottom line is, if you vote for either one of these two parties, then you're going to continue the status quo. That's why I don't vote for either one of these two parties. Now, do I vote for some Democrats and some Republicans? Yes. And I vote for Green Party and Libertarian and other people. And I've kept all my voting record from 2012 up to now. So I'm not just saying, you know, on the podcast, you know, I can produce you the evidence, because I vote by mail, and I photocopy it, I scan it, and then I drive it down and I put it into the California is good for this. They want everybody to vote, including the illegal people.
That is
right.
That is very relevant.
So they want everybody, which is so ironic because in Missouri, Black folks, we don't want you voting. So, you know, they want everybody to vote in California, and they make it really easy. So I'll photocopy how I vote. And now, a percentage of Black folks say, we are not voting by mail. We're going to go down and stand in line. Okay. And hopefully you're not in one of them southern states where I'm from, where they shut the voting booth down early in the Black districts. Right. I'm just saying. You know, you've been warned how these people get down. You've been warned repeatedly, but you want to still go stand in line. And if they shut the booth down early, then you want to complain.
And so even with that being said, just getting back to the topic, to the point, which party has or will at this point, and who are they willing to deport? Because right now, again, there are no rules as we we actually observe.
You cannot factually say there are no rules. That's not true. We're a nation of rules and laws.
No,
Now,
we're
do
not.
we abide by? Yes, we are. Do we abide? You can
No, we're not following them.
No.
If there are rules in place.
Right.
The rules aren't being followed.
Yeah.
And then people say there are no rules. No, there are rules.
There are rules.
And the rules are being broken.
Yeah, just like you said,
Yeah.
Richard, you were saying how President Trump will say these are the tariffs, and then it'll be like these are not the tariffs, or he changes his mind quickly. This is happening, this is not happening. He changes his mind, he flips and he flops a lot.
But that's on his executive power. He has that option. But on rules and regulations regarding deportations, we're talking facts. If you come here illegally and you say, well, I'm seeking political asylum, hopefully you can get a hearing. Hopefully you can get a hearing in an expedited fashion. That's one part of the problem, because you're not getting your hearings in expedited fashions. And why is that? Is it because the Democrats don't want you to have it? Is it because the Republicans don't want you to have it? Both.
It's because there aren't enough federal judges to take all the cases.
Okay. And so both parties will point to the other and say, you're the reason why we haven't appointed enough federal judges. That's just on that particular issue. But there's another part of the issue that says, we're America. We want you to come over here and work for these slave wages, because these slaves that we freed, their descendants ain't doing the work. They'd rather do other things. They're not going to do that work. So we'll need you to come over here illegally and work for these low wages, paying the Social Security, because you won't get it back later. And when you come over here illegally and get some type of identification, we'll just have you do the paperwork, but we're not going to require we're not going to verify your Social Security number with the Social Security Administration, because we want to exploit you. And that's another part of the problem. So there's a lot of problems with this, quote, illegal immigration, but all the laws are on the books from the 80s on how to handle this. But like both of y'all have said,
they're not being followed.
Yeah, because some of the Republicans are, let me put it like this. In my opinion, maybe 10% of the Republican Party is racist. But from 11 up to about 50, 55, they have a form of prejudice. From deep to moderate to mild. They don't want you in this country at all, period. But another part of Republicans who are also in that same group who are prejudiced, they want you in this country because they want to exploit you, because they want a high rate of return on their investment. That's another part of
it's like, but you can't have it both ways. Even just say with the deportations, you can't say deport all these people and then get mad when the people in your kitchen or that take care of your children or your lawn and everything disappear.
I stated this before. It's not the immigrants that I'm too concerned about. It's the people, like you were saying, Rich, who have hired them in a fashion of exploitation and aren't suffering consequences. Mm-hmm. That's the issue.
Is this like the whole drug game?
Yeah, they're creating an environment.
The boys on the street instead of the people in the planes flying the stuff over here.
Similar.
Right. Yeah.
Because just said, the people who are doing the hiring, they want to hire you at a low wage. But another part of the people in their group don't want you here. But the ones who are hiring at the low wage, who are Republican, they're not going to tell the other ones. They're going to put Donald Trump in again. And then they're going to exploit you like they've been doing all along. And now, so, if they have to work with some Democrats, check this out. If they got to work with some Democrats to keep you here illegally, because the Democrats say you're not getting your hearing because you may be a political refugee or you're looking for a better life. And why can't you get a better life in this country that's full of immigrants? Why can't we get you a better life with a cheaper rate for your citizenship? So if those particular Republicans have to work in secret with a percentage of Democrats, that's what they'll do. And so then you say, well, then who's going to win? If I could tell you who was going to win, I wouldn't be sitting here in this house right now. I'd be over flying all over the world. But it's not just one single issue. So it's just like in the Black community. They say, well, what's the issue why they can't get ahead? It's not one single thing. It's a variety of issues. And then you have to put a weight on those variety of issues So the deportation is the same thing. How much weight do you put on which issue to really correct the problem? We want people to come to this country and feel like they're part of the country. Come legally. We want you to be paid.
I think
wage, not no living wage.
So the amount of pressure applied to a specific thing, it's not to be equal, right? It's ambulatory, if anything, and that because that's how you stop the bleeding, and that's how you actually save the patients, and that's how you save the country, as it were, right? If you have a person who's bleeding out profusely and they're about to lose their lives, you don't treat them at the same rate of speed that you do a person who's just simply got a broken arm.
Yeah,
right?
This is ER 101.
Triage.
Exactly. Triage type of deal. So it's not you don't apply the same amount of pressure to the same thing, and you don't treat everything at the exact same time. You treat the symptoms, you treat the behaviors that are causing the bad environments. One of those symptoms is people creating the environment who are hiring the folks that they're exploiting, and then saying that the people that are coming over here getting exploited are the ones causing the issue. Well, that's a foolish. It's not a. It's very insidious, and it's very, very ill mannered, and it's smart, but it's not the immigrants. It's the people that are creating the environment that need and that are not having the consequences.
No. Check this out. I'm going to show you how both these parties are lying. Democrats say the people who are doing all this illegal hiring, let's penalize them. And then they say, if you, the Republican Party, agree that we can penalize everyone who's doing all this illegal hiring, they will agree with you about putting that every person who works in this country has to be verified with their Social Security number through the Social Security Administration.
Or real IDs.
Right. So now, or a national.
That little star.
So now the Republicans can say, you can't work in this country unless we verify who you are. And the Democrats say, if you're a company or a person hiring people illegally, we're going to punish you. We're going to penalize you. Now it's kind of equal. But you'll never hear them say that.
I get what you're saying. And for depending on the topic where we are, right, I do agree that that they're purple, right? The government is purple, red and blue, they're purple. The interaction that we're having right now and the things that the lay of the land right now is that we're bleeding all over the place because it's not. Unfortunately, the Dems aren't saying anything, and that's part of the problem. That's a part of the issue, that the Democratic Party isn't saying anything. They're not saying enough. They're grandstanding, but nothing's being done to help fix the situation, right? Well, and so when I ask who's being deported, who can be deported, this is the foolishness. And again, this is something that was pushed out in Project 2025, and it's the flailing of a failed administration as well to move the target and to distract people from what the actual issues are. And unfortunately, as he whispered on a hot mic to the El Salvadorian president in April, Americans are next on his chopping block.
He won't be able to pull that off.
He's done it already.
He's doing it with the tariffs. These small businesses, are you serious? Yeah. All these small businesses, these people are bleeding from the eyes.
When you deal with President Trump, sometimes he's serious, sometimes he's just going to see what he can get away with. He knows. Look, they haven't ruled on.
I have never seen Jay Glass this.
I drive him crazy, but listen, because I haven't been proven wrong yet. They have to rule on if you come to this country illegally and you have children, do you still get birthright citizenship? I say you shouldn't. Other people have said, Richard, you're dead wrong. Now, a certain percentage of the Republican Party is telling me that I'm also dead wrong, and that the Supreme Court will rule against President Trump on birthright citizenship. I'm waiting for that verdict to come through.
Yeah,
because that's important. Because that kind of, to me, that sets the pace for your administration.
I agree. I agree with that. But as it stands right now, there have been American citizens in the form of children that have been deported. I just want to throw that out there. At least 3. Right.
Oh, the kids.
Yep, the kids.
Yeah, and what they were saying was that the mom was an illegal immigrant.
Talking about anchor babies.
And the kids went with the mom.
Oh
So
yeah.
mom didn't have the kids here. She had the kids when she came over. But she already
Well,
had.
she had the kids here. The kids were citizens,
okay.
but she got deported.
Right.
But she took her citizen babies
with her. Keep her family together. Yeah.
Right. But one of the kids was in a cancer treatment situation.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
And got deported with the mom, and the dad is sitting here like, I can't take my daughter to get her cancer treated.
And that's the part that I was about to press on, because here's the hypocrisy of it all, right? He exploited that young man at the State of the Union address.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the cancer.
A young black man who had cancer.
No,
Yeah.
his little boy.
The little boy, and even
was
he
from Texas? Yeah, from
because
Texas.
they gave him an honorary badge and uniform. They had it all over the news locally, but I knew as soon as he stood up, I was like, "Here we go."
And now, it's okay to deport American citizens, although their children and their parents are undocumented, but it's okay to do that. And one has.
The Supreme Court has never ruled on that yet.
Yeah, what they argued is that the kids weren't deported; the kids just went with the mom.
That's exactly right.
Deported.
That's
how they.
So
yeah,
legally, they didn't do.
I get the art of the spin. I got that part, but let me say something to the point of that the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on it yet. It's in the Constitution. It's not that they have to rule on it. It's the 14th Amendment. They don't have to.
Because the kid was never deported. The mother was.
No. What I'm saying is, you keep saying that you're waiting for the Supreme Court to rule on it. Well,
on the birthright citizenship, yes.
Yes, it's an amendment. It's
already in there.
That's correct. But they're gonna have to rule on it to keep President Trump. Or if they don't rule on it and they say this decision's already been made, it's in the 14th Amendment, it's still a ruling. They have to say something. So in other words, if the Supreme Court, it's 6-4, no, not 5-4 Republican to Democrat. The Republicans have to make sure they give Donald Trump.
No. It's 6-3.
6-3.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it is
6-3. It's 6-3.
Thank you. So if it's 6-3 Republican, they have to, in a sense, they can't give President Trump everything he wants, because you got to keep the country alive for financial prosperity for the elite.
We working on a skeleton crew.
But you have to give him, in other words, if 10 cases that Donald Trump wants in front of the Supreme Court, they got to deliver 6 to him.
Listen, that's the reason why I can't agree with your statement is because the Supreme Court does not work for the President of the United States.
You're correct.
They are there.
They're supposed to check him.
Exactly.
That's correct too. But but this is a political situation.
And I don't disagree with that, but I don't want us to lose sight of what the Supreme Court's function actually is. And that's what Americans continue to do, right? Just because he's got a 6-3 lay of the land of the Supreme Court does not mean that what that means essentially is that they will probably err towards a conservative interpretation of the law, not the Republican Party or the will of the president, just because the president is the president. Correct. That's not, and I'm saying that because I keep trying to tell Americans that's not how that works.
That
is how that works in reality.
It's working because of what he was allowed.
But I think what you're saying, Jay, is that's not how it was set up to work.
Perfect,
but it is how it's working.
I would say that when it was set up from the very beginning, they knew that if certain judges belonged to certain political parties, how they were going to interpret.
Oh, yeah.
They were making it from the very beginning, but now it's so obvious.
Yeah,
it's so obvious to us.
Make no mistake about it, right? Mitch McConnell blocked President Obama from appointing a Supreme Court nominee on purpose, and this is he's when history is written, Mitch McConnell is going to go down in history as making one of the worst political moves in the United States of America,
and he regrets it now.
And he regrets it, and he won't say it, but you can see it all over his face every time he's asked that question.
I don't know if he regrets anything he's done.
I think he regrets that. I think he regrets that because he's married to a Chinese woman. Right. He's another dude that's dodging raindrops and that kind of stuff. But I think he
Oh my God.
No,
I don't even want to ask that question because he looks like he may be Latino, and I don't want
I feel sorry for
Well,
him.
no, you don't want to get deported because oftentimes when you get off that plane, you go to jail. You don't just they don't just drop you off at the beaches of Venezuela or El Salvador or whatever. Those people that are getting deported are going into another legal system.
So this is going on for now. It won't go on for the whole 4 years. This will be resolved. This will be resolved.
It's going to change in 26. This is going to change in 26 at the latest, if not sooner, but 26, because people are already lining up. And you know what, Jay? I'm okay sometimes with people being quiet because sometimes you got to move in silence.
And because I also feel like you have to be quiet because you don't know what the hell is going on. Because I felt that way regarding the Republican Party. Like you said, it's just not a straight line. You got like, how did we used to say it in school? Liberal Republicans and conservative Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So there are people, everybody has a pulse in these, on either side. So somebody should be able to say, hey, this is crazy. You know who did speak up a long time ago? Mitt Romney. He was one of the ones that was like, I'm not going to be a part of this. Okay. So what are those people? But I think that he left. No, I know that. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is some people are just kind of waiting it out to see what it's going to do, because you say Democrats aren't saying enough or not saying anything, but the Republicans that know better, they're not saying anything either. Some of them don't want to, shoot themselves in the foot, because it depends which way the pendulum goes, because everything is just so topsy-turvy and nothing is sure right now. And you see how Elon was doing the most at first, like he was the vice president. Now all of a sudden,
he never played president. He was
but I'm just saying hey, we knew more about him than JD Vance. What was JD Vance doing? What was he doing?
I tried to tell Mr. Glass, I said, Elon Musk, from what's being reported, I don't believe everything I hear that's reported, but on this I did. I said he's not gonna last very long.
Yeah, because they were trying to see how much we could take before enough people were like, okay, what the hell? Wait, that's enough now. Here's this guy from South Africa.
Because just like the deportation,
why does he keep talking? And then now he's disappearing a little bit more. I'm not saying that he's still not doing anything or saying anything. He's just not out front about it, especially when a little kid cussed him out and said whatever he said to him in the office. He was in the Oval Office telling him to shut the F up.
Well, listen, just like the deportations, he said the government, we can run like a business. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said,
running it like his business, we in trouble.
No. Elon said that he was running like his business, but he said we can cut $2 trillion. Now it's down to, I think, 150 billion. Because I think they said like 70% of government spending you have to spend. You can't cut it.
Right.
Okay. So
you cutting muscle. They trying to tell you they cutting fat, but they cutting muscle.
Good one.
That's a
good
one. It doesn't work that way.
So he ran out of steam, and then because his Tesla, they were losing money, and the shareholders were like, get your ass back.
You get back. Yeah. You're in the wrong room.
How many people really felt that way? The majority. So it's just like, what are you doing? They're like, well, let's see. I could just imagine. Wait. And then it was enough where they were like, that's it. You got to get up out of it.
So,
or they won't be compliant. That's the way I feel that they had enough.
The deportation is the same thing. Listen to this. He did all this talk. I'm going to be tough on illegal immigration. Well, he's been tough, been somewhat illegal, but he's been tough. So when the court system puts him back in place, he'll say, well, hey, voters, you voted for me. I told you what I was going to do, and they put me in my place.
I tried.
On to the next issue. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on. I think there's a military parade coming up, so should be funny. Should be interesting.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
He's leveraging the Army's birthday
with his birthday.
Because he's a Gemini too.
But wait a minute. Here's the funny thing. This is how
he's
God
Flag
talks.
Day.
Hold on.
I'm so glad we really don't know about it.
This is the funniest of all this. I know he don't want me to say this, because
Yeah.
June 14th comes twice. One for the president, one for someone else. And then I'll see you on the next day on the 15th. But it's just funny how things work.
'Cause my
Geminis, no Geminis.
It is the
From
14th.
May 22nd to June 20th.
Yep.
May
June 20th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
just
you got three Geminis. This means you got about 12 personalities on the podcast, right?
Like I coined this phrase. It's like you say, no, they don't have a serious problem. They have a series of problems.
Oh wow.
Because the multiple, you got to be fair to everybody that's in there, not just the twins. They're people too.
Hey, we moving on. We're going to where? Where are
Geminis can see both sides of every argument.
That's all.
That's our superpower.
And every
And
dimension.
the Libras do too. They see both sides too. Libras as well.
And I don't go by the signs and all that kind of stuff for real, but like whenever I throw my sign in there, my zodiac, what I'm born under, people go, oh, and
What
that's
sign is it?
the Scorpio. So you've been warned. Yeah.
I need to share this before we move to the next topic.
Scorpio.
Give me 1 second. I want to share this because I don't know how many people. This is something new, and I got it from NPR.
Okay.
An article on NPR. And give me 1 second. I have to find it again. No, not that one. Goodness gracious.
Oh, the $1,000.
$1,000.
The $1,000 exit payment.
Yes. And so I need to read some of this just so Americans can understand where our dollars are about to go, or where they may be promised to go. The U.S. government is offering, and this is from NPR, the U.S. government is offering migrants who are in the country illegally a sum worth of $1,000 in paid travel if they decide to leave the U.S. Self-deportation is the best and safest, most cost-effective way to leave the United States to avoid arrest.
Ooh, you know what Donald Trump just did? You know what he just did?
What?
He's basically saying, I want to pay using taxpayer dollars. I'm surprised the Republicans are not saying anything. I'm going to use taxpayer dollars to send you back to the country you came from because you came over here illegally. Because
he's not sending them back to their country.
Yeah.
He's sending them to El Salvador. All these folks ain't from El Salvador.
Hey, have you ever seen this movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas?
Yeah, he's not sending them back to their country, Ty. But yes, I've seen that movie.
Okay, so like, I just feel like it's propaganda. Like, turn yourself in.
Yeah.
So I can see who you are for this $1,000, and you ain't finna get this $1,000. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
let me
go ahead.
continue on this a little bit. And again, this is an article from NPR. The date of this actual article, just so everybody knows, it's two days ago. This came out 2 days ago. All right. And it's crazy. Since returning to office in January, the president has launched a major crackdown on illegal immigration, at times relying on controversial tactics such as the invocation of centuries-old wartime laws. Sometimes moves faced legal challenges. Those who signed up for the self-deportation financial incentive would not be prioritized for detention by immigration officials. That's from DHS. DHS said a first illegal alien had already taken up the offer, receiving a ticket for a flight from Chicago to Honduras. The scheme.
So it's not El Salvador, it's Honduras?
Honduras.
So it's Honduras?
That's what it says.
Okay.
He volunteered. He got his $1,000 and he got his plane ticket, and he's in Honduras.
So you can go to any country you want to, or
I'm guessing that's where he's from.
Yeah. And so the scheme relies on migrants utilizing the CBP home app, which can be used to confirm that person's return to their home country. So yeah, it'll be their home country. It'll be their home country. They describe the offer as a dignified route, adding that it would cut the cost of deportations for DHS. The average cost to arrest, detain, and deport a migrant currently stood at more than $17,000.
now
So
here's the
this
thing.
is where we're going.
Right. So when you said, hey, these people who came over here illegally, they're not criminals. They need to have their hearing in case they're seeking political asylum or whatever. And what he's doing is he's going all the way around the hearing and saying, if you're here illegally and you know you're here illegally and you ain't supposed to be here, then we're going to give you $1,000 to go back to your home country.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going right around the hearing process because because by them taking $1,000, they're admitting I'm here illegally. they shouldn't take the money. But if they
Look.
don't take the money, and
I don't think the
Look,
money
see,
is real.
everyone assumes that everyone here illegally did the same thing. Let me introduce you to a world of you came here on a student visa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That student visa expired.
Yep.
Work
But
visa.
now you in the country.
okay,
And once again, you ducking and dodging raindrops. It's not all people who are here illegally didn't all come through Tijuana.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
And
They didn't all come here that way. They came here legally.
feedback.
They came here legally.
right,
And then when their legal permission to come here expired,
okay.
they became illegal.
And haven't you seen on the news or the college campuses how they're deporting some of the college students and putting
Yeah,
them
that are
through
here
hell?
legally. They're legal.
They're here legally, and they're on them about their visas and when they expire and the financial aid, or just yeah. So they're attacking those kids too.
Oh, wait, now these particular kids that they're attacking because their visas may have expired, these kids
Or
weren't-
about to.
These kids weren't pro-Palestine, were they?
No, they're revoking. No, they're not. They're not even up for expiration. They're revoking them.
Revoking.
So once you revoke the visa,
Right.
you're now illegal.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is these kids who are on student visas that have not expired, that the government is revoking, were these kids taking part in protests that were pro-Palestine?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Which are anti-Semitic
Yep.
in nature.
That's
the way they get. That's the way they. It's one or the other. If you're pro-Palestine,
I don't want to stereotype and say that if you're pro-Palestine, you're anti-Semitic.
no, that's what they are saying.
Gotcha.
Like Jay Glass said,
That's what they are saying.
It's purple with some purple Kool-Aid going on right here.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I got you. Yeah.
Look at this.
I support Israel and still say, hey, I still believe in peace. I wish people could get along and stuff. There he is. Okay.
Welcome on, Deuce. It's good to see you, man. By the way, TikTok, if you want to hop on a podcast, by all means, look us up on YouTube and look at the Family Bloodline podcast.
Deuce Richard has been just having a day without you. He was like, I'm glad Deuce ain't. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I ain't been here to check him. We got a Richard running loose out here, huh?
Hey,
No,
Richard out there running loose,
Unchecked.
running wild.
Richard got notes and Polaroids. I'm like, ooh. I'm just kidding.
He
No,
brought
he
the
did his
notebook out.
research. He did his
That's
research.
the worst Richard. The upper
No,
prepared Richard is the worst
I
Richard.
actually like that about you, Richard, because everybody got it. You know what I'm saying? Come prepared. I know that it's a fun podcast, but I appreciate that because you're not just talking out the side of your neck.
No.
None of us are.
No, because I want his podcast to be successful. It has to be informing. It has to be entertaining. But that people need to see different types of Black folks who are not, I don't want to say so far to the conservative side or so far to the liberal side. It depends really on the issue at hand. Because Mr. Glass, I've been going round and round with some people from my past about Mr. Shannon Sharp, and I'm gonna stop right there.
Oh,
Stop right there. Because they've been giving me holy jihad, but now all of a sudden I hear about Smokey Robinson, and I love me some Smokey, and I'm gonna stand by Smokey Robinson, and I hear about Byron Scott.
Byron said he thought that girl was legal.
Stop right there. I don't
That's
hear
why-
no more.
That's
That's
why- That's why
That
I
sound
didn't-
like that sound like Tyrone down at the liquor store. I can't hear that.
And I heard Byron Scott was a Gemini. I'm just kidding.
Whoa, what are we doing here?
You don't know who Byron Scott
I
is?
gotta see.
You know what? I did not like Byron Scott because he took Norm Nixon's job. That's how long I had. That's how far back.
Norm Nixon was that dude.
Norm Nixon.
Norm was that dude.
Then
He was
married
that
to
dude.
Debbie Allen.
Oh yeah, he's
Like, yeah, I know, but I'm saying at the time
Oh yeah.
when Byron Scott came on the scene and they sent Norm Nixon to what? Phoenix.
I forgot what he sent him, but
Here's the karma. Here's that karma.
he was that guy.
But
Norm Nixon. Norm got deported.
Yeah, Norm got deported to Arizona.
Magic had to take over. It was his time. It's unfortunate.
So we
He got
are
deported. Yeah.
to catch you up, Deuce. You
He
the
was, I was
first
just being
hour of
silly,
discussion
really
talking about who can be deported. Now we're talking about where are people being deported.
Y'all talked about I know he was looking in the motherland, Rwanda.
I haven't brought it up yet, but
Oh, okay, go ahead.
You start this segment. You start this segment. I'm gonna pull up an article in a second, Rich. Give it a second before you take. I'll pull up an article in a second. But go ahead, Deuce. What you got?
I know there were two countries. I forgot one, but Rwanda hurt me, man, because Rwanda's on the uptick, baby. Rwanda's coming through. They got some nice developments coming on out there. And when I saw that, after I watched Hotel Rwanda back in the day, it made me feel a certain type of way, man. I ain't like that. I don't like the fact that Rwanda, an African country, remember, old boy said, no more people from shit countries, right?
Right.
And he listed a lot of African countries.
Shithole countries.
Oh, in the hole. It's not even shit on the floor, shit in the hole.
Shithole countries. There you go.
Yeah. And I hated to see Rwanda jump on them. And two countries from Africa, man.
Ain't nobody going to Libya. Are you serious?
Well, I understand Libya. They had the slavery allegations a while ago, right?
Gaddafi. It ain't no allegations. I mean, across the pond over. They got some stuff going on. Middle East, they got some stuff going. It's been going on, and it's a nice business. And I'm being sarcastic when I say nice.
That's crazy.
So like women and children, the sex trafficking. We live in a nice hub of it in Houston.
I heard about H-Town. I heard about H-Town.
Texas, and then I listen to this podcast every morning. Well, it's not a podcast, but anyway, I listen every morning, and they're always talking about what's going on over there and all the things that are under the rug. And then they're under the rug, but people know about them. Nobody's doing anything about them because people are making money. They're making money over trafficking. It's sex trafficking. It's men, women, boys, girls, dogs, whatever they can get their hands on. What movie was that we saw? It's just whatever your fetish is. Give me two of them. You know, it's really sick.
I think it's one of the, if
human
not the
trafficking,
if not the quietest crime, like criminal enterprise. I can't think of one that's quieter than human trafficking. I mean, it's everywhere, all around. Like Houston and Miami go back and forth as the #1 cities in America for human trafficking.
That's insane.
But
you know what? You would think that both parties could have bipartisanship. If you say if you say that you were always against racism, show it. If you say you're against the sex trade and you're for women's rights, show me. If you say you believe in God and your Christian God is the greatest God, then show me with your actions and how you.
He held the Bible like this. He held the Bible like it was a hot tamale.
Right. No, and it was upside down. It was upside down. Okay, so Richard, this is what I was talking about. Whatever it is, whatever affiliation you are, like we were saying, the Republican Party, they weren't really saying anything in that side of the Republican Party, who, like I was saying, liberal Republicans and conservative Democrats, you know, you should say something. You should say something because it does bleed together. And again, they go play golf. You know, those people play golf and stuff with each other.
Yep.
You know, so I used to think back in the day when I was growing up, who was it? It was Bush and somebody. I'm trying to think. Anyway, I found out that they played golf together. All these different people, Republicans and Democrats, they just golf together. They're going, and I'm like, what? I thought they were arch enemies. They're not.
No, that's business too.
Yeah.
You look at a country and you look how it treats its senior citizens. And when they tell the senior citizens, we can't have universal health care. We can't have universal health care because it'll destroy our medical economy or the medical treatment. So that's what you tell your senior citizens. That's what you, not about your mama and your daddy, but about they mama and they
other
daddy.
people's, yes.
So you don't want to treat the elderly with love and respect for the time they put into this great country. And then you turn around and tell the kids, look, I know your mom and daddy ain't about nothing, but sorry, your school system is going to be about nothing too. So you're not going to get no fair opportunity from kindergarten through through the 12th grade because your mom and daddy don't have no jobs, and because I discriminate against your mom and daddy, you come from the ghetto. You
No,
get a
because you don't work hard enough. You lazy, and you didn't work.
That comes later. That comes later after I send you to the poor school, the poor and ill-equipped school with a lack of financial funding.
Bless you.
So when you treat
Thank
your
you.
elderly and your children with that type of lack and respect, then I know how you'll treat the rest of us. And then I know why you allow the sex trade and any other kind of trade. So when you tell me that these black men are out here, raping white women or doing all these things wrong, when I know that deep down inside you're all part of that same system, then I don't want to hear you talk about you holding P. Diddy accountable. I don't want to hear you talk about, well, we have to deport all these illegal people because they're here doing all the jobs that, quote, we don't want to do. That's what you say out of your mouth. But the truth of God cannot be found in you.
Yep.
So let me say this to part of that point. First off, America, the only places value on people who can actually produce for America, right? As you get elderly, you're no longer productive to and for America, so there's less value placed on you. All right, that's why it's okay for them to put in a budget plan to begin to strip the Medicare away from.
Yeah, that's the first place that they cut is always the elderly. That's one of the first places that they cut.
But
And they don't care. They're like, you on your way out anyway. You get ready to die, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of people are living longer and they just end up sick.
But the Republicans swear that they're not cutting Social Security or they're not cutting Medicaid. They swear by that. Or am I just saying, is it just they swear by they won't cut Social Security, but Medicaid is different? Is it one or both? I know they swear Social Security.
It's actually both, but I read today that they're backpedaling a little bit on Medicaid cut.
This is where I'm gonna agree with you. If they backtrack on Medicaid and or Social Security, they will lose in the 2026 election. That's a guaranteed loser. Just like I said, the things that Democrats were fighting for in the 24 election, I said it's a guaranteed loser. You will lose. Period.
So I'm going to read these articles from NPR because that's who I've been looking at lately. And
you're getting cut, right? Your funds are being cut in NPR.
Yeah, PG was going after him, but I think he's running into a roadblock with that too.
Okay. Well, yeah, they will because NPR and PBS, those are congressionally mandated funds and not funds mandated by the president. So he can write an executive order to try to pause it, but he doesn't have the authority to actually do that because these aren't programs that are funded by him. So, but let me read this
left and right on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's going for all these little bitty things anyway. Like, what does that have to do with,
he says that they are a biased propaganda that tried to destroy him. He's not totally wrong. He's not totally wrong on this. Not totally.
I can agree with you on that.
Not totally wrong.
But because he's not making sense.
This article from NPR says the Trump administration is planning to deport migrants without legal status to Libya, a country long plagued by armed conflict. The U.S. official has confirmed to NPR. However, the Libyan officials for both the factions controlling separate areas of the divided country denied they were in talks with the U.S., according to Reuters. The official was not authorized to speak publicly about the plans, but the news comes days after reports that Trump was eyeing the North African nation as well as other African countries, including Benin, Angola, and Eswatini, as places to send deportees. Now, we were talking about Rwanda a second ago, and I will get to the article or to the paragraph about Rwanda in a second, but I want to also read these next two. On Wednesday afternoon, immigration lawyers filed an emergency motion asking Boston-based U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy to block any removals by Libya or any third country, citing alarming reports in the media about imminent deportations. They argued that their clients, who are from Laos, Vietnam, and the Philippines, could be sent in a matter of hours.
Wait, you said Laos? What was the other countries?
Laos, Vietnam, Philippines. Now, I have a coworker whose wife, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'll just keep pushing. Earlier this week, this foreign minister confirmed that the East African country was in talks with Washington about the same issue. All these countries have notorious human rights records. The deportations to Libya are expected to be carried out by U.S. military.
Yes.
Yeah, he's trying to put the military to work. You see, he wants the military to go into Mexico, occupy Mexico to control their drug cartel situation.
Yeah.
You saw what the president of Mexico said?
Hold on. Wait a
Go
minute.
on somewhere. She
What
said,
about Canada?
Hold on. Wait a minute. This is where it gets tricky. All this other
How?
stuff. Wait a minute. Hold on. Just hold on for a second. All this
All
stuff
right.
he's doing about them not getting their hearings, and he's violating the law by not giving these people their hearings. I cannot argue that. And even when he tried to say the 1798 we're aliens,
What can you not argue?
Yeah.
But this thing about the drugs and going inside Mexico, I said this months ago, so I can't backtrack now.
I remember you did say something about
I
this.
said, yes, use our U.S. military and stop all these drugs from coming to the country. And that should make a major, major impact on the African-American communities. It should. It should.
They going in there to get the hookup. They going to see
clarify
where everybody stay, where they can get the hookup and cut out the middleman.
Break it down to me. What exactly are you saying?
Crack LA, that military?
Yeah.
That
They do not have our best interests.
That military?
They don't have anybody's best interest. They going to see who all over there and what they got and see how we gonna come through, so we can know how to come through. But they're gonna have a fight on their hands.
You know what?
You think sending the military in to put it to the cartels is going to help with the drug flow in America? Is that what you're saying?
It's gonna help the drug flow.
You know what's funny? I think Stephanie.
Well, I'm gonna buy a rehab place because it's gonna be for veterans. Because there's gonna be some veterans coming back here.
I think what President Trump is doing about America first, protect our country, that's a great selling point. Go in there and stop all the drugs from coming to America. He's actually right, but I think Stephanie's right too.
What is he right about? Please break that down. How can invading another country, tearing up the diplomacy that we have with that country, eradicating the border, that's going to make drugs flow in?
I said that they're going over there to see what's really going on, to see how they're not over there for our best citizens' best interest. They're over there. They'll go for their pockets to see who all over there and what they got, so they can know how to re-up and how to approach them. It's not to help us. That's for their pockets.
Listen to this, Stephanie. You're not completely wrong. But here's the catcher to that. We don't have to go over there to find out what they got going on because we helped them set them up through the CIA years ago. Okay, so I'm gonna give you that.
Narcos.
So
great series. I love Narcos. I love it.
Yes, we should use our military to stop drugs from coming and destroying our country.
That's not the job of the military.
Did you guys see the movie Deep Cover?
Yeah,
that was another good one.
There you go. There you go.
Y'all seen American Gangster too?
Yeah.
It was only Denzel and Idris in there. Who else was in that movie? I didn't see nobody. What was that movie about?
I have to make this point.
Lynn, is that chinchilla? Is that a chinchilla? Chinchilla coat the hat he got. You want one of them chinchilla? No, I don't want one of them.
I didn't realize that was Idris Elba until later, and then I was like,
wait a minute.
Idris Elba.
That was in The Wire. But look, President Trump is right on this.
No, please break it down. How? I want to hear this.
What's he right? Let him say it. Let him say it. Come on, Richard.
I don't want to see drugs to America. Now, if we could say 1,000% that the American government, through the CIA or anyone else, wouldn't go down in Mexico and figure out how they can hold the drug trade and keep the drugs coming to America, if we could say with 1,000% they would not do that, that's a brilliant thing, because it should have been done a long time ago. Because drugs destroys people's lives regardless of their race or their religion. I don't want to see nobody's life.
They don't care.
Rich, don't jump in that soapbox. I want to know how is this going to work. Don't give me the emotional part. I want to know how it's going to work. Let's bring it back. Hold on. Don't preach for me. I want to know how it's going to work.
Mexico is not stupid. I mean, everybody's in each other's pockets. Hence I hate the word. Well, look, the movies are based on real life issues, but when you find out you cannot arrest these people because of diplomacy, you can't just go over there.
Tom Cruise, Made in America.
Oh, that was so funny. But I'm
Come
gonna
on.
say this: I would have
Yeah.
found a place to have that money. I'm just saying, I would have found a place.
I
There
will.
ain't no diplomacy. When
I
you
will.
call, listen to this. When America says, not us, America. You know what I'm saying? When
Gotcha.
America,
America says.
America.
when America says we are the world's leader of the free world, that means we can do what the hell we want to do anytime we want to.
Yeah,
So we
I can,
shouldn't say that. We should not say that. And so when we say we're the world's leader and you're bringing drugs from your country into our country and destroying, well, I don't know if Tyrone and Jaquita, if their lives matter, but when you destroy Becky and Jim,
with the good
or
her.
the Americans that made America great, when you destroy their lives, then I've got
Okay.
to use the military as the commander in chief to save my great country.
Richard,
But you think
what
it's
do you
gonna
was
work?
the over under in their past election season with candidates that were murdered?
Mm,
It was in the 40s.
mm.
How many candidates in this election cycle we just had were murdered campaigning for office?
But they tried to get him. They tried to get
And
President
right.
allegedly.
But right, that could have been one.
Right.
I'm saying 45
No, you're right.
candidates.
No, you're right. And
They're
that's
not like us. They're not like us. You go over there, you think the war on drugs is the biggest
right.
money
Oh, man.
grab.
You have to go
in my
down
lifetime.
there. Wait a minute.
That's their Disney.
Going
That's
down
their
there.
Disney.
Well, hold on. Going down there and eradicating all that evilness is no different as when President Bush, the son, said there's weapons of mass destruction, and there were none in Iraq. And if there were some weapons of mass destruction, because we sold them, look for the receipt, he took our men and women over there for a war that we shouldn't have gone over there for, to get rid of terrorism. So it's the same trick.
And
And
did we
look,
get rid
look
of it?
how that works for terrorism.
Did we get rid of it?
Right.
And
Right.
I just support that.
And that same thing happened with drugs.
Yeah, similar is not the same.
Look, here's my favorite quote from
Some of
Narcos.
them gonna be high.
Okay.
Weed will make you rich,
Oh,
but cocaine will make you famous.
Ooh, and it does.
Let me
It does.
out here again. And I said this, and I will continue to say this until people actually hear what I'm saying. I know y'all picking up what I'm putting down.
We
But
are.
I don't give a damn where we go and invade to stop drugs. Americans will
Yeah.
find drugs because Americans are addicts. I don't care what form of the drug is, be it coffee, alcohol, tobacco, cocaine.
Don't come for coffee. Don't come for coffee.
I'm
You
coming
know I'm
for
a coffee connoisseur.
I
Don't.
know, and I'm coming for it, dog.
You gotta give us a waiver. You gotta give us a coffee waiver.
Please.
You gotta give us a coffee
Please.
waiver.
Deuce, you like that mushroom coffee? Do you like the
I
mushroom?
haven't tried the mushroom coffee yet, but the way James
Give
talking,
us
he's
a
gonna get rid
waiver,
of it.
Jay, on the coffee.
That's kind
I'm
of
telling you.
But it's the truth, right? So it doesn't matter what you do, what angle you take, or how you push it in there. Americans are going to get their drugs. Look at what our pharmaceutical companies have done to another segment of America, right? And started a fentanyl epidemic.
Mhm.
It could have stopped. And again, I want to remind everybody, the tariff war started because we were trying to stop fentanyl from coming into the country. Let's not make no mistake about it. That's why the tariff war started. That was the point of origin. That bullshit lie. I want to throw that out there. Again, Americans will figure out how to get drugs.
That's why I said they're not going over there for
I have
our protection. They're going over there to see what the hookup is. Okay, where is that? What can we take over?
I have more confidence.
You know,
I have more confidence in our American citizens.
look in New York alone.
Because doing cocaine and crack and crystal meth, that's one thing. Sipping your coffee because you're overworked, trying to take care of your family, that's another.
Thank you. Okay. I am with you.
Amen.
I'm with you. Hallelujah.
Jay, did we get our coffee waiver?
No, it's still a drug.
Did we get our coffee waiver?
Hey, I like alcohol. It's still a drug.
I was about to pour me a glass. That's stressing me. Taking away my coffee.
Hey, I'm just saying. So even if we send troops over there, which is not what the military is designed to do, first off, let's remember that. That's not what we're
You can
designed.
design the military to do anything. Let's change the law. That's all you got to do.
We're not designed to fight drug wars.
Our U.S. military, I believe in. Our U.S. military keeps us
Here we go.
safe and strong. And if we have to go and knock somebody's brains out to keep our citizens safe and strong, I believe in the Army, the Air Force, the Marines,
And the
the
National
Coast
Guard.
And the
Space
Navy.
Force.
Don't forget
And
the
the
Navy.
Navy.
Hey, don't you forget the Guardians. Do not forget the Space Force Guardians.
But I don't think that they should use it on when people are being arrested.
Yeah, and I just want
And
to.
here's-
Local law enforcement, please, could you not?
I want to say this part though. All right, people train for a specific trait, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, y'all are trained in everything financial. So I would never test y'all in that field, right? Glass, you train in an assortment of things, and Rich, you train in things too. I would never challenge y'all in those fields. The military is also trained, man. And for better or for worse, we are trained in large scale warfare. Guerrilla warfare tactics it's been our Achilles heel. It's been the Achilles heel for every great nation throughout
When you're
human
it's
history.
an away game. It's an away game, right?
Oh, now we're talking my language. It's the away game. Role players don't step up to the plate like that.
In his former Navy.
Yeah, it's an away game, so you should know you at a disadvantage.
So, Rich, America's military might is no one can touch us at number one. However, they can bring us to a dog fight. Which they're not trying to beat America. You know who they're trying to beat? The voters.
So
the voters.
I believe.
I agree with this too.
I believe that
too many rules.
We as the United States have the strongest military on earth. I believe in that. And I believe that when we want to send someone a message, now I'm from the Air Force. So you know when I strike from the air and I strike for life. So when we strike you, we're gonna strike you as Japan. When we strike you, you'll never.
We ain't struck nobody since Japan.
Look, maybe that's why.
No, but we haven't needed to.
I mean, what is it? Bam, it's like they was like, oh, okay, I remember. Okay, we good. Like the Alamo.
Right. But if we have to go in, if we have to do guerrilla, see, when you say we can't win a guerrilla warfare, you know what I think about? I think about the Marines. I think about those Green Berets. I think about them SEALs. You don't tell them what they can't do. When they say they're coming to get you, you're God.
I like how you slice and dice my statement up.
To do the cleanup. But when they come when they come for you.
Yeah. Don't slice my statement up, Rich. I said with guerrilla warfare, they're not attacking the U.S. military. They're attacking the voters.
If you tell a Green Beret, if you tell a Navy SEAL that they can't hold it down for America in a guerrilla warfare, boy, you'll be fighting for the rest of your life. Because they don't.
I said the voters. I know maybe the Alabama coming out of me, but I said the voters.
They are voters.
It's ever his Alabama.
We are voters.
I'm from Alabama.
Okay.
I'm in Virginia right now.
Oh,
Rich, the reason why we pull out of Vietnam.
Politics.
Couldn't win.
Voters.
Okay.
We did. We did. But voters.
I'm not.
Because guerrilla warfare is going to bring us down to a quagmire, right? I'm trying to say my vocabulary.
I appreciate you using quagmire. I absolutely.
Quagmire. Yeah, 1980s word. So I'm using breathe and I'm using relax. So I got this written down on 4. You know I got it written down on number 4? Because that's the Air Force. See, I believe in this.
Air Force is 4?
And I know when America wants to send a message, they can. When they tell us, oh, well, we can't win a guerrilla warfare. No, that's a lie. Because my belief in God tells me that those special forces and all the branches, send them a mission and they'll get it done.
But it's not enough. It's not enough special forces. That's why they special.
And let's also deal with a few things, right? To keep things in perspective, right? Because we do have objective behavior in fact and subjective behavior in fact. And our personal beliefs are generally rooted and founded in subjective movements, right? It starts on objective fact, but it begins to take on a shape, phrase, and movement of subjective fact or subjective perception. A schizophrenic believes that they're actually talking to multiple different people at once.
They are.
I'm schizophrenics. Yeah, some.
Yeah, when it's only them, right? Right. Right. Some. So we can observe them. We can observe their behavior, and they truly believe that the things that are doing are taking on different personalities. It's different people, and they to the point to where sometimes molecularly that's a movement. It's a shift. That's their personal.
It's a different dimension, something that we can't see, but they can see it.
Yeah, and it's their personal belief, but that doesn't make it objective fact.
Well, you know what's funny? Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You want to talk about subjective. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, this word
With
subjective.
Rich smile, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Because, subjectively, they tell you that we can't fight guerrilla warfare. And then objectively, they use the United States government through the Pentagon, through its military department for Hollywood to create movies, to influence movies, to convince you of that shit. See, since you're talking. So
No, okay. Well, then I'll continue to talk.
yeah.
Historically, show me the progression of when we fought on a guerrilla warfare front, even though we had troops training in jungle warfare. Show me when we've won one.
Because they didn't want you to. They're never going to show you what they don't want you to have. See,
I don't have to see it. Again, remember, I'm a student of war, right?
No.
I know.
Wars are always man-made. They don't just happen.
Well, they're not made by nature or robots.
They're designed by man. And the reason why you haven't seen America win a guerrilla warfare is because they don't want you to know that you can win a guerrilla warfare. See, it's a mind game. It's subjective. So they show you subjectively you can't win a guerrilla
But
warfare.
Rich, you dodging the question, my guy.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, sir, you are.
Deuce, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Rich out here tap dancing.
No, I'm not. I'm using those same words. They have convinced you psychologically you can't win in the guerrilla warfare. That's a doggone lie.
No. Don't get me wrong. It's not a point of them convincing me. First off, I'm going through a med board. I got hopefully less than 150 days left in this place, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is, it's not something that I'm convinced of. It's something that's been proven. We have not won in guerrilla warfare.
No, because they didn't want to win. If you
But Rich, list the times
Regardless,
we
we
won.
haven't won.
List the times we won. That'll destroy the argument.
Yeah.
They didn't want to win. When you look at all the military books about the wars, they'll tell you we could have won this, but the government wouldn't allow us to win. You'll see retired generals making these statements. I know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you mean.
Even though you may retire within 180 days or whatever, once you're military, once you serve 2 years or more, once you've gone into the war zone, the U.S. government has its mind control on you. No matter how hard I try to run from that military shit, every time they just keep wrecking me right back. You can't escape that military. Once they get their grips on you, you're hooked for life.
And so
why doesn't Saigon exist anymore? Saigon. Why doesn't Saigon exist anymore?
They didn't want it. They want to keep it.
Boo.
We were fighting for Saigon. Now it's Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh. So a question that I have, right? And I totally understand what you're talking about, right? But you're also talking about one of the terms that our generals have brought back to the newer generation of soldier, as it were, because I'm considered an older soldier at this point. And that phrase is LSCO, large scale operations, right? And you're talking about a large scale operations in jungle terrain. Show me which basic training, which branch of the military directly from its inception goes through and begins to train in jungle warfare.
None. Boot camp don't cover that. That we don't have a week of that in boot camp.
Nah.
Exactly. None of us do. Right? We train with conventional warfare in mind. Jungle warfare, guerrilla warfare is a completely different element. We're looking at non-conventional asymmetrical warfare fronts, and these are battles.
Again,
special forces groups can fight on those fronts, but as a large-scale operation, it's not in our best interest to do it.
This is where you have to go outside the book. See, the books can teach you only so much. Okay. Now, the books are not.
How are we gonna learn? How are we gonna learn, brother?
Just hear me out for a second. This is what the old folks taught us. Don't think that books can teach you everything, because they're not. As long as they teach you what they want you to believe, on how they want you to act, then that's what you follow. But see, you have to be smarter than the book. You have to have a deeper sense of who you are. For someone to tell me, oh, you and a group of people from America, y'all couldn't strap up and go handle business in guerrilla warfare, I can't accept that, because I believe in myself and I believe in my country, our country. So for me to say that the Mexicans or the people in the Middle East or anybody in a guerrilla warfare could beat us Americans, that's like you telling me that we put together our basketball team, our football team, our baseball team, and we go to some other country, they can kick our ass. I ain't trying to hear that.
Hey, Japan would be one hell of a fighter.
Fair enough. Yes, they're
Well, I
big.
think if they were trained, if they're trained and had the area to train, that would be
But
one.
they
I
don't
think
want to train.
that
But they
they're
don't want to
unmatched, but
train.
I don't think that if you're not trained and if you don't know the area, then
Because they
it's
don't
at a
want
loss.
to.
I mean, but you
They
have
don't
to be
want to.
trained in how anything that
Listen.
we're taught. I believe that we can learn. Okay,
You-
but you can't just be dumped over somewhere and expect to
Again, if you
prevail.
train us,
we
listen,
ain't finna,
they teach us the stuff in the different branches of the military. But
we
they
ain't
don't want to teach about guerrilla warfare because then they wouldn't have an excuse to say, well, we can't fight guerrilla warfare. See, this is a mind game. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Oh, like the political element is.
It's all political because your president is a politician and he's the commander in chief of all the branches.
First of all, he ain't my. Okay, what happened? I'm sorry.
Oh my God. We got to
Yo,
push.
I want to say this. I want to say this.
No.
I want to say this, man. Rich is one captivating dude, man. You managed not to answer a single question directly, but you had me motivated. I was ready to walk down to the border myself and storm Mexico, bro. Because I was like, my boy Rich said I could do anything I put my mind to. I don't need no gun. I don't need no trend. I got left and right.
No. Wait a minute. Hold on. When Lynn Medeiros is talking and Stephanie Medeiros is talking about the life insurance and they're talking to potential customers, they ain't taking no for no answer.
Yes, they are.
They have
Sometimes they get those.
We take no. We take no for an answer.
Please tell us no.
We take no for an answer.
Please tell us
But
no.
they have supreme confidence in their abilities. They don't walk in. They don't walk in thinking, well, maybe I can sell, maybe I can't. No, they don't walk in like that. They walk in like, hey, I'm there. Are you ready?
I like the pivot, Rich. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Please tell us. Just tell us no. Because it'll be
Americans don't want to be told no. That goes against the whole idea of capitalism.
No, hey, I feel like that after I grew up on Sylvester Stallone movies. So I mean, I can watch Rambo 1 and I'll be like,
Rambo was the
very first one. I mean, I agree.
Dope.
Yeah, it's just so. But
personally, I think Rocky 2 is the better movie because I was in it.
Rocky 2.
As a
I
youth,
said Rambo, baby.
As a youth,
as
a youth, I was in the movie.
What?
As a youth.
But look at that. He had Rocky, Rambo. What else was it? Cobra. And his new series is good, but my heart was kind of hurt when I found out that he was a supporter
of what?
Trump.
But it doesn't mean that he is a supporter.
No,
but you know what I'm saying? He ain't supporting because he like black folks. He like
Sylvester Stallone is really the American success story. He was told from the get-go, you ain't no actor, ain't nobody buying you.
He was stupid.
So
he was dumb. And he wrote the whole movie.
But because he believed in himself the way I believe in our United States military, even with the lack of training, I still believe. Stop laughing, Deuce.
Y'all don't do him like, but he does sound like Linus with the Great Pumpkin.
Yes. He was not supposed to make it in Hollywood.
Do you remember the Great Pumpkin? Is the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown when Linus is?
But he had a fighting attitude. He had a fighting disposition. I have a fighting disposition. And
you're a fighter.
All four of us have a fighting disposition.
Good. Yeah.
So we don't give up. In fact,
I got a fight disposition.
You can't have a podcast without having a fighting disposition in this game.
I got a fight disposition, but I ain't going toe to toe with old ass Mike Tyson either. I might have the belief in my fighting skills, but I know I ain't gonna be able to take Mike Tyson.
You ain't gonna go get hit for that bag. You ain't gonna go. You can get started. I'm just kidding.
Pushing forward a little bit. The question is, after we've been hit with a lot of this craziness, with a lot of the things that are coming out from the administration, right? Especially when it comes to deportations, and American citizens are up for grab also at this point. Is any of this legal? Is any of this going to get pushed through? I see what you're saying, Lynn. I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna check it. Hold on, let me see. You in the background as a youth?
Yeah, you can see me. Put it up on the screen.
I'll put it up.
I got it's on my phone. Oh, okay. Hold on. Which one are you?
The big one.
The one teaching, the one spitting financial knowledge.
I see you.
What is he?
Hold on. Okay. Right there.
That's me.
Oh,
That's me
Right.
right there.
well, I see it. I see it. Yeah.
That's me with the fro.
Okay.
I see you front center, baby.
Now, so check this out, right? When we got to the steps, because I had long legs, I was able to take the steps 2 and 3 at a time.
He was taller than Sylvester. No.
So I was almost. So I got to the top of the steps before the rest of the kids, and Rocky lifted me up off the ground.
Wow.
But it wasn't it was a shaky lift.
He was too big.
I was wearing Huskies back then.
Oh.
So here's what happened. So the director cut it,
Oh,
and then he staggered the little kids from the top of the steps and all the way down the steps, and now I ended up on the sidewalk. So when you ever watch that movie again, when that scene comes, you'll see it's all little kids around him circling out to big kids. So I changed the movie.
I hate to say
I
this,
think that
but
thing-
Lynn, I hate to say this because I'm a proponent of it, but Lynn, I think you just got DEI'd, man.
No, because I was in 6th grade.
He was
No,
big.
but because you made it to the top and he picked you up, it's like, nah.
No, but it wasn't my skin. It was my height.
He was too big.
My height had me on the sidewalk, and they had the
Protect-
little kids
Protect
up
the
top.
status, man. We need the little people up.
I can give you some DEI stories. I can give you some of those. I got those,
Yeah.
but that ain't one of them. What I did before I forget, did someone on this podcast say that NIL was heading for a salary cap
That was-
last
Dang,
week?
there was a smart
Did
alecky
somebody-
guy
somebody
that
on
said
this-
that.
Podcast say that.
Oh, it
No.
was
It was a smart
wait.
aleck guy. I can't remember.
Hey,
And guess who met with Nick Saban and now wants to do an executive order for NIL?
hey, listen to this.
Really?
Before y'all came on a couple of weeks ago, we were talking because Jay Glass said, "Hey, I want you to go on and print out the federal budget and take a look at it and be ready for the podcast." I said, "Okay," and it said in there they wanted to have an economy that wasn't interfered by government. I said, "Well, that's funny because this time the Republicans are going to get caught in their own shit." And I don't cuss on podcasts, but this one I have to. See, Republicans, you say you believe in a free market.
Nah.
Well, if you
Only
believe
the
in the free
benefits of
market,
pockets.
let name, image, and likeness be the free market. So
Well,
if Ohio State wants to pay Tyrone $25 million per year, then that's Ohio State. And if Alabama can't compete, well, I guess the South won't rise again.
I guess Erica would be calling Tyrone too.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's the hypocrisy of the Republican Party when they say they believe in a free market. We don't need big government. We need smaller government. But here you come, because these I don't want to say just black boys, but young men are getting paid now in college, and now here you want to come and put a cap on it. Just like you capped at basketball.
Well, you know what? That's the thing.
In baseball, the America's pastime, you won't cap the white folks' money. Oh, I'm preaching that.
That's what doesn't make sense to me with the deportations, right? Because I got to look into the NIL thing. That's interesting. But I looked it up, right? Prisoners, man, $11 billion. Prisoners in jail contribute $11 billion to the U.S. economy, right?
Yeah.
States like the Bible Belt states, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, pay from like 12 cents to $1.15 per hour to prisoners. So, listen, I'm not, the whole prison system needs to be reformed. Let me just say that as a disclaimer. But looking at the business side, why would the administration farm out slave labor, the new slave labor, to other countries? So it had me thinking, because before we get to the legalese of it, what's the benefit to America, i.e. the government, by shipping free labor to other countries? And I can't figure that piece out.
They'll get paid for that.
Huh?
I think so. First off,
we're paying countries.
Sure. No, well, privatized prisons are still a big business, right?
Yeah.
So if the current POTUS is, and I sent this to you, Deuce, $1.5 billion in debt. Doesn't say to who.
Right.
Multiple different people and entities. If those prison systems are able to be created in other areas, it creates another stream of offshore revenue for billionaires.
I didn't think about the private companies own or people owning. Damn, I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. They could own it in another country, bypass American regulations,
Yep.
Not have to pay
not have to
taxes
pay
on it,
anything.
Pay taxes.
and it's a great investment.
Yep.
It's a money printing machine.
Absolutely.
So there
Absolutely.
you go. You
I
diversify
didn't
your
think about
prison
that.
portfolio.
That's it, unfortunately.
Like, dude, you got all your prison investments in the U.S. Are you crazy?
Right.
You need to diversify. You need to diversify your holdings, like Wu-Tang said. Wu-Tang.
You take investment.
You need to diversify your bond.
But listen, let's look at the three countries that it's possible to happen in. Libya, the countries Libya, Angola, Botswana, Rwanda, right? And you look at the expansion that's happening in Africa from other countries. We got to be able to get in on that somehow. We've got to be able to capitalize on that somehow.
Shipping free labor back to Africa.
We might not do it as a country, but we will do it for our billionaire class.
So here's where President Trump is going to run into.
That's genius, actually. It's genius, evil
We're going
genius.
to run into a problem.
Yeah.
Everything that he's trying to do, if 10 issues regarding deportation gets to the United States Supreme Court, he may win 4, 6 at the most. But anything that could be so detrimental to this country collapsing, he won't win. And he'll take the loss and he won't complain about it.
Man.
Because at the end of the day, he's going to increase the shareholder value of himself, his family, and his close friends, including Elon Musk.
He ain't got no friends.
Okay, associates.
He's a band.
He got associates.
If bandwagon were a person,
He's going to increase their shareholder value. Now,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from the tech side. I know I'm going to throw deuce off when I say this. If you get rid of all these people doing all this manual work, then just put AI and put the robots in and let them do it. Because
you
Elon
still
Musk,
need people when they screw up in the programming.
not really. Because most of the people will be up in space anyway. Living.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta
I
pay
watched
for
them.
that. You gotta pay for that though. So it ain't a lot of people. Look, Gail.
Well, no,
not
no. When I
Gail
say
was
people-
sponsored. Look.
when I say people living in space, I'm not talking minorities.
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
My boy quoted the movie Wall-E from Disney. I seen that movie. I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I'm a movie connoisseur and coffee connoisseur. But
Drugs. The movies are releasing them endorphins while you drinking coffee. You a drug addict, brother. You need.
I'm on an all-time high. Then
Don't
Oh
forget,
my God.
art imitates life. Okay.
It does. It does.
But he can't. But the president and all this deportation legally, when he goes too far, he'll get stopped. His own party.
What is too far, Rich? I feel like it's already been
He
too far.
already.
We don't know yet. That's the scary part. We don't know yet.
Right here. He over there. I'm like, what?
Well, who determines when it's too far? The people or the one of the government
It
branches?
ain't us. It ain't us.
In order to keep this country going.
Sorry.
If he
Oh
ever
yeah,
does-
that movie with Matt Damon.
I gotta watch that one.
Yeah,
Elysium.
if he ever does anything that could cause the demise of this country.
What do you mean? He already has.
Yeah, and
That's what I'm
look,
saying.
we were there when January 6th happened in real time.
Look up Deep Cover. That's the
But now
old
we-
film with Lawrence Fishburne.
but now we
Look
good
up
with
Deep Cover. Dudes, look up Deep Cover.
Listen,
I seen that one.
the Republican Party was split when he gave all those people passes.
Yeah.
Let them out of jail. Now,
Right.
but I said this. I said if he gets reelected, he has to.
Yep.
Because that's his base.
I
So
read
he,
You did say that.
he said he couldn't be. He wasn't running the third time just yesterday. What was that?
He's
Right.
he's waffling back and forth.
no.
He does that a lot.
If he
Yeah.
won this election, those people who went to protest on his behalf, even though they didn't do it peacefully, he has to let them out because that's his base. He didn't have a choice.
Yeah, but it ain't. It's not even one electoral vote.
That's
He
true.
let him out. Hey, look, he let him out because he had to show us he had the power to let him out.
Yeah, after
That's
all
true.
of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Jay Glass.
So it's the perception.
I feel like with all of this stuff that everybody's spinning their wheels, this is definitely. I'll just use myself for example to represent whatever demographic I represent. It's out of our hands, and I'm tired. I'm waiting for it to. I'm like, I feel like I'm an old lady saying, "Oh, and this too shall pass," because like what Richard said about my beliefs and how I'm not gonna let this make me lose sleep. I told Lynn before the election even started. I was like, Lynn, I'm just letting you know, I'm not putting all of my emotions and anxiety. I'm not doing this again. That that happened the
I
other
did the same
time.
thing. Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not doing it. And I'll hear the little tidbits and stuff, but I am not. I refuse to invest my God-given time and breath into all of this crap. Because it makes people spin and all that. And so like I have to keep my peace of mind because my life is still lifing in spite of all this other stuff that's going on. Not that it's not happening, but like when you were talking about people, so what did he say? The people that see different things. What did he say?
Who's he?
James, you were talking about schizophrenia.
Mhm.
It's like different dimensions. Because if you think about this and just delve into this so much and all the time, that becomes your world. But you still gotta pay. You still gotta eat. Still gotta go to the grocery store. Somebody gonna have eggs on sale. You understand what I'm saying? So I just I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to pass from the phrase "this too shall pass." My eyes are open. Don't get me wrong, because I do have a spiritual discernment. Most of us do. We just don't necessarily we don't take advantage of it or pay attention to it because we let distractions overwhelm us. And I just decided I'm going to stay not necessarily balanced either, but I'm going to stay where my strength lies so that I can produce and so that I can help and live my life, and live out my purpose instead of being overwhelmed, taken under and dragged about something we don't know what the hell is going on. And you just gotta wait. Like when you get on one of them roller coasters and say, why did I get on this? And you just gotta wait for that thing to end. And it's like, whoo, that's kind of where I am.
Yeah, but people are forgetting when 9/11 happened. That was a big deal. And when the country was split about going to war in Iraq. See, some people believe that 9/11 was allowed to happen. That was a big deal. If the truth ever comes out about 9/11, because there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. So if you had a son or a daughter who lost their life fighting in that war in Iraq for no reason, you're quite upset. Yeah. People have a tendency to forget that was a big, big, big deal back in those times for President Bush's son.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Well, and it behooves me that the mayor Giuliani is the same person that was the mayor then. I'm like, huh? How is that the same guy that exists today?
Well, because he's a New Yorker.
He was America's. Yeah, he was America's. I liked him back then. I liked him back then.
I was like, who is this now? He looks like some alien or something. Who is this dude?
But New Yorkers think that they know everything. So Donald Trump's a New Yorker. If you look at the rappers from New York, from the 5 boroughs, they're going to rap and keep rapping till the day they die. They ain't stopping. And the only people that can keep those New Yorkers in place, basically across this country, is those from the West Coast.
I think
New Yorkers are dominant. Them 5 boroughs, when you look at Donald Trump, you're looking at the 5 boroughs. No. Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, people, they have the same. Oh yes, they bulls.
I don't even know if
they got the same mindset
down the street.
Ask Glenn when he's doing financial stuff with them New Yorkers from them 5 boroughs. Ask them how they act. They're ruthless, and they can count that money and calculate. Put it on you.
Anybody that got money should be, probably ruthless about their money. But these folks in Texas ain't playing either.
You want to hear something funny? Right. We're not even licensed to do business in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's too regulated and restricted.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
go
ahead, Deuce. You got it.
I was about to say, yeah, while y'all were talking, spitting some knowledge out, I was thinking about your question. It's all in this legal. All right, so I asked my homie Chat, is it legal to deport illegal
Come on,
aliens
Chat
without due
GPT.
process?
Yeah,
Yeah, my boy Chat. Y'all know Chat too?
I do. My
Yeah.
chat. I told you we gave each other nicknames, but go ahead.
Oh, Chat just a hoe, just messing with everybody. That's how it is. But
He'll talk to anybody that'll listen.
to talk
Right.
to anybody.
Like,
So
Trump.
I've heard people say that it's legal to deport them. It's illegal to deport them. So when I looked at it, Chat said it's in the wording, how you define words.
Yes.
A lot of words have meaning. So the Constitution specifically talks about persons, right?
Not
One thing
citizens.
says
Not
not citizens.
Persons.
No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That's the Fifth Amendment, talking about due process. So that's where you get into the debates. So now people are trying to classify what does persons mean.
Gotcha.
The same way Trump fought
Human.
to classify what does a citizen mean, right? So if you can legally change the definition, just like Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America,
Okay.
if you can change that definition to the word persons,
I got
you
one.
can
Bill
get them
Clinton
out.
was right. Bill Clinton was right. Depends on what the definition of is.
Right. That's a reference.
And R. Kelly, what do you mean?
No.
What do you mean by teenager?
Hold on. Let's not bring his name into this.
Goodness.
I can defend black men, but there's some.
I see what
He's a human or a citizen or a person, and I don't know which one he is.
I don't know what R. Kelly is. I don't know. I can't.
I seen an interview with Tucker Carlson and Matt Gaetz, and Tucker was like, "Well, the 17-year-old girl," Gaetz said, "woman," and they just both stared at each other.
Yes.
First of all, it's like it's like teenager, 13. So if she's under 13, she's not even a teen yet. So then you go up to 19. That's Shannon about 19.
Lord. Oh Lord.
Dangerous.
Well,
It's
hold
just
on.
like
Because
Barely legal.
last time I checked, the military accepts 18.
identity crisis.
The last time I checked, the
Everywhere.
military accepts 18-year-olds.
Even 17, which with a signature.
Yeah.
That's correct. If they're parents, but an 18-year-old girl without her parent's signature can sign up
To defend this
How do
country.
I say this?
Just
She
like a
can
boy.
sign up to defend this country.
My mom signed for me.
She can look. She can sign up and go into an industry that's always popular.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But that
She
ain't
always-
even- she have a computer screen right there. We talking about the old age.
X.
Yeah.
My
You
mom.
know,
So if
My
you
mom-
18,
Oh,
you
this
start to be in a porno movie. Enough said.
or
Yeah.
OnlyFans ain't porno. She could be clipping her toenails and Shannon up there sending her tips.
Oh God, come on, Uncle Shay, why'd you do it, man?
Exactly.
He didn't do anything wrong. These are just allegations.
Oh,
From the
no.
information that I received-
We've heard the phone
Look,
conversation.
he said the relationship was consensual.
From the
Yeah.
allegations that I've heard, if I was picked, if that court was moved from Nevada to Los Angeles to Sacramento and I was picked, with the information I have, he's innocent. With the information I have.
Well, you and I would be in there all day, Richard, because I'm like, hell
Well,
no.
look,
He's like,
Sure.
he's not guilty.
Excuse me, he nasty.
He's not guilty. He's not innocent.
He nasty and too old. He knows better, but he wanna.
he
I
knows
would-
better.
Rich,
What'd you say?
I would have to agree with Rich, is that he's innocent.
He's innocent.
Oh,
in the court of law.
or innocent of sexual assault.
Yes.
Listen to Stephanie.
Law.
On the
Lies-
street,
lies
ask your
too.
mama and your aunties. Like we told you to leave that little girl, that little white girl.
Lies
up there.
too.
Anyway, what
July
happened?
10th, 1897. July 10th, 1897. Erastus Brown was lynched in Union, Missouri, off
Yes.
an allegation that he raped a white woman, but he didn't rape her. And she told the court he didn't rape me, but he was lynched anyway. So because that's my relative from way back in the day, and then when I look at all the exonerations of black men who were accused of killing women, regardless of their race, and then got off death row, well, then when I look at the history of Black America, when all these allegations are made against them, Emmett Till, the situation in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I mean, we can start naming them off.
You know what? I hear the violins and stuff playing, but I'll say this as an auntie, mother, and all this. This ain't that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Also,
is.
also, Richard,
Shannon was.
it's a civil trial.
He's not.
That's the
He's
difference.
not using wisdom. He is not. He's a grown ass man, and he should know how to control his sexual urges and stuff. And then if the girl is 19,
right? She's
why
legal.
he's coming out here? What are you doing? He's trying to prove something. There's something missing inside of him, where he thinks he needs to act upon this, especially when he's got all these opportunities.
I agree, because I felt the same way when
you show me a man with great wealth.
Give me a second, Rich, because I felt the exact same way when there were a lot of older aunties that were celebrating Stella getting her groove back.
But did Tay go to court? Did Tay record her? Oh, okay.
I definitely get your point. Unfortunately, the young lady is classified as an adult. Is it something that an older man should be engaged in?
Wait a minute.
I don't agree.
Jay Glass, I'll say this: even if she was in her 20s, if she was in her 20s, I'll take away 19. If she were in her 20s,
it doesn't matter.
Shannon would still be he would still be out of line, in my opinion, because it's like, what is he trying to prove to himself? I don't care how old she is. It's just like, Shannon, what are you doing? You have these opportunities coming at you, and now you're making decisions that could mess them up. Because people looking at you doing stupid stuff and you getting caught.
No, that's absolutely wrong. Because here's the double standard for black men. Let's check this out. Here's the double standard of black men. You got a white man considered the greatest coach in the NFL, Bill Belichick. He's 77 years old, and his 24-year-old girlfriend that he proudly puts on his arm, she ain't on OnlyFans, at least not yet. He's with her walking around. He's smiling, actually. I guess she's doing her job. So
that's elderly abuse right there.
But let me tell you, but you know what? I don't agree with that either. That's what I'm saying. If the girl were in her 20s, it's just like, you 87 and however old you, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you want to say, she robbed me. You opened the door, you gave her the keys.
I just thought about something. I don't even know how we got here. Who mentioned Uncle Shay Shay? How did this door get open? How did Pandora's box get over here? Deportations.
Look, I'm snitching, Richard.
It had to be Richard. He knows Rick. Rick's like dropping bombs.
He was making a point, and he decided to drag Shannon in to make his point.
You know why I brought his name up? Because there are certain people who are saying deport Shannon.
Man, I don't into that voice.
What people are saying that?
They want to deport Shannon
because in their eyes he's a criminal. But they're missing the big picture right up front. This is a civil
one person.
This is a civil trial.
Yeah. And we go back to the deportations, and this is where Mr. Glass was trying to get me at. He said, "Is this really a criminal situation or is this a civil situation?" He said, "Define the word criminal," and I couldn't define it.
Well, it's a civil.
Because the Republicans say it's a criminal act. That's what the Republicans are selling us on.
What is immigration? What side of immigration court does it reside in?
Yeah, that's civil.
No, immigration.
It's civil.
No, I'm talking about Shannon is civil.
Right. But
they're both civil.
But
they're both civil.
The framing from a specific party is trying to paint it as if it's criminal, but it's not, right? Also, so let me also take a few steps back. Like I'm not finna agree with anybody who doesn't know what their oath to the Constitution is.
Yeah, let me check with the lawyers.
Wait. Who was that? The reporter.
What's the oath to the Constitution?
The Declaration of Independence. What if it's the Declaration of Independence?
Oh Lord!
Wait, is it?
It's about love.
Sweet Love, Sweet Chariot. No,
right? The Pursuit of Happiness.
Hold on. And then people are like, "Oh, he didn't have his hand on the Bible." Like, y'all need to stop. He said the words.
President Obama.
He said the words. I will defend.
No, not President Obama. These are interviews with our current POTUS, right? And let me rephrase that, because it's not about me agreeing or disagreeing with that. It's the the notion of not understanding the oath of office at the highest level is such an absurd idea
He lied. He knows.
He's
in and of
unfit to
itself.
lead.
He
Unfit to lead.
And he knows it.
when
And
he
you know
said-
what? You know what? Let me give you this real quick, Richard. Every Trumpster that I have asked, could he be the CEO at your company where you work?
Oh, good question.
100% of them said no.
So
Really?
with the
No.
poll of the
But he
Republicans,
can be POTUS.
right? So with the poll of the Republicans that you're talking to versus the Republicans that I see on TV, so there's a lot of Republicans. It's just like there's a lot of Democrats. So we all have our sample sizes because the Republicans I talk to, they don't know how this tariff is going to turn out.
What? They know. They know.
But wait, it's going to get better.
They know.
It's going to get better.
Even
This is
Jerome Powell
he's a slow
said.
train wreck.
Even Jerome Powell. Because
And the 90-day
there was
pause?
FOMC today.
The 90-day pause, call your bookie. The 90-day pause, he going to figure out a way to backtrack on that.
Amen.
He ain't doing nothing 90 days from now.
What, Lynn? He talked to over 200 countries, even though it's only like 100 and something.
190, right? 190 of them. Well, hold on. What about that island with the ducks and with the penguins?
Penguins. So
Did you talk to them?
have
No,
we?
no. It's a Frederick and something.
Oh yeah, we saw.
He watched
Yeah.
Happy Feet. He watched Happy Feet.
Yeah, did he talk to the penguins? Did he cut a good deal for them?
He said he was.
He watched Happy Feet.
Have we been notified of the actual countries that have come to the table to try and make deals?
No.
China said no. They haven't. They haven't talked.
Look, here, let me give you a Mitt Romney. He will never show you his taxes, and he will never show you the list of countries that bend the knee to him because they don't exist.
I'm just asking for proof. That's
You're
all.
right.
He will give you the proof. He
Lynn,
never gives you the proof.
Lynn, you're right about the taxes. You're right about the taxes.
Mitt told me that.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
right about the taxes.
Mitt told me that. I was like,
No,
Mitt?
in fact, Mitt didn't have to tell you that. You already knew that about the
Right,
taxes.
I did.
Yeah, about the taxes.
And the
That's-
question that I also have is his clothing line still made in China?
Great.
Damn, I forgot he had the clothing line.
Great
Yes.
point.
I
Great
will
point.
say yes.
Wait.
And his daughter has stuff made in China.
But I was
Yes.
because she's no longer in
But she still
Dillard. She's not in. She wasn't even in. She's not even in Walmart. Todd, where are they selling these clothes online?
Cool. Find out where
Yeah,
they-
because
get
I
some-
mean,
Is
where-
that
where do you
Sears?
have the
Is that
clothes
Sears?
at? On
JC
Amazon.
Penney's.
It
JC
ain't in,
Penney.
it ain't in JC Penney either.
Where is it made? Is the
In
question.
China.
That's a great point.
And so that's so if you don't know if you don't know what your oath of office is, and you're pushing a narrative, although you're continuously using the vendor that you say nobody else can use. The question, where is the genuine honesty
Right.
and care for the people?
So let's go back for a second. He said he was going to be tough on illegal immigration. He's been so tough it got him in the United States Supreme Court. That's the first thing. He
But
said,
Biden-
and then he said, if I ain't with all that DEI, the minute I'm back in office, I'm coming for every DEI situation. That's the second thing. He said, I'm coming for my enemies. He's doing that every which way but loose. He's got law firms agreeing to support his the
Pro bono.
government.
Yeah.
Pro
Yeah.
bono. So he's doing that. Now, when he said he didn't know his oath, no, he knew his oath, but his lawyers advised him, if they ask you this question, walk away. And that's what he did.
Okay, that's fair. That's
He
a
was
fair
smart enough to walk away from that situation.
It-
The tariffs is a trickier. Here's the thing about the tariffs.
To spin.
I know we're going to end up at, but go ahead. I'm looking at Deuce. I know it's finna get charged up, but go ahead.
Go back.
But I've got it.
A little bit longer on the tariffs.
I got an early morning family. I do. We got it. This has been a blast. This has been a blast. I appreciate the topic, but we got to get ready for Woo, final thoughts. Goodness gracious, that was 2 hours and 19 minutes. Y'all setting records. I don't know. I keep saying we're gonna do it about an hour.
I didn't put an hour. I didn't block off an hour on my calendar.
I didn't either. I was just like, oh man, I'm getting sleepy for some reason. Oh, it's 10:19. I got to be back up at 4. But
Oh,
I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
Richard done had you in a headlock.
I know. Rich,
Deuce coming straight to the show. That's Deuce.
But let's get to final thoughts, family. First final thoughts up is Steph and Lynn of the Medeiros Group.
Oh, you go ahead.
You
I'm thinking.
See, I'm trying to be chivalrous.
I know, but I'm
and
thinking. So be chivalrous and go before me so I can think.
That's all right. So my final thought is with regards to people being deported from this country. I'm disappointed that we're not looking for a situation to go down the road that's been talked about, where we talk about a pathway. If something is deemed illegal, then who's going to carve out the road to create a legal pathway to citizenship? Because I have worked and lived in one of those shithole countries in Nigeria where we lost power every single day. No exaggeration. But what I encountered all the time were young Nigerians that had the American dream. See, people think the American dream is only for Americans. They're out there overseas all over this world dreaming and buying into the American dream, where you can come to a place and if you can work hard and outwork everybody, you can be, like Rich was saying, you can be whatever it is you want to be. That is America, and it's not a dream. It's an opportunity. And we had last week, we were talking about people not fully maximizing that opportunity. That happens because one of the reasons why I live in Houston now instead of on the East Coast is because I came to a city and I said, ooh, they don't run as fast in Houston as they run back in Philly and DC.
Ooh, nice.
It's like when Superman came to Earth.
Yeah.
Ooh, this gravity don't grab me like it did on Krypton. Or my parents, because he didn't walk on Krypton. Whatever. Nah. My point is, I would like to see the purple union come together and create a pathway for these illegal, and what did they used to call it? Amnesty. Remember amnesty?
Yeah.
Gun amnesty, tax amnesty, immigration amnesty. You know, one thing I've learned in my 56 years is that the powers that be can do whatever it is they want to do. And things are going down the way they're going down today, because this is what the powers that be, the people in control, this is what they want. So I'm telling people, it ain't going to be a long 4 years. Start lining up to find out, get you an opportunity to take advantage of when these things come back. Because all this stuff that he's tearing down, it's going to come back. It's going to come back bigger, stronger, and better. And that's our opportunity. We can bring all this stuff back. Don't give it a fancy name. Just give it a behavior and keep it moving. But I'd love to see these talking heads and think tanks get together and create a pathway to legalized citizenship where you ain't got to marry somebody you don't like and all this other, all these other shenanigans that people are doing to circumvent the rules, where you could just say, okay, you come here, you do A, you do B, you do C, and you are a citizen. Now, is that possible? Of course it is. Is it probable? Probably not in this administration. Well, hopefully I'll live this administration. I'll see something like that down the road. But that's what I'd like to see come out of this experiment that we're experiencing right now.
I like that experiment because that's the way what I feel that it kind of is. My final thoughts are to keep your head on the swivel, but stay focused. And you know what? It relates to what you said about because if you stay focused, then when this smoke clears and when the next thing comes, you'll be able to um, start where we left off. You know, with DI or anything else that's important to you that's not happening now, or you feel that's being, what we're taking advantage of or just overlooked. Then just focus on the main thing, and then make sure that you do what is right for you and for your community in the moment. Don't get swept away by all of this. I'm going to use the word propaganda, but be true to yourself. You know how you were raised, and what your core beliefs are what will lead and guide you throughout this whole turmoil of events. And this too shall pass. Stay true to yourself, keep your faith, and know that this will not overtake you. This didn't come to stay, it came to pass. And yeah, be true to who you are, to God, and keep your faith and stay strong so that when your time comes, you can do the right thing to help push forward and help those around you, including yourself.
All right, I can dig it. I can dig it. Rich, your final thoughts are next.
So here we go. Nice and quick and easy. I believe in the deportation of the two major political parties along with the Federal Reserve. I want to create a new name, a new image, and a new likeness of a new America that is based on a righteous dream of equality with full equity by practicing the golden rule. Treat others as you treat yourself. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Deuce. It's on.
I like what you guys. I am. I miss it. I like what you guys were saying. America is a brand, right? Lynn was talking about it in Nigeria. People still had the American dream. It's a brand. People believe in that. Right now, it's under attack. Just like Marvel had his heyday with the Avengers Endgame, and they turned around and gave us Captain America, Brave New World, right? They crapped in the bed. Right now, America's crapping in our own bed, right? But just like you guys said, America, it's a democracy. It's a pendulum. It's swinging far right. It swings far left. You got to be prepared for both sides, right? So I think that's the thing. Keep your eyes on the prize. Just be ready.
Just be ready. Give me 1 second. I'm going to flip my camera back around. I wanted to make sure that the family on TikTok could see y'all saying y'all say. So for my final thoughts, I won't be a Southern Baptist preacher, Deuce.
I ain't gonna keep you.
I ain't gonna even hold you tonight. What I will simply say, what I will say is, the American people have to stop allowing stupidity to run so fluidly, easily, right? The rule of law is there for a reason, and if you find yourself going through and jumping through mental gymnastics, then you are probably on the wrong side of what the law states. That's what lawyers do, and I get it. I get it. It doesn't make it okay. It's just what they do. They get paid for it, though. The American people are the ones paying the price for what's happening now, and it's an issue. We have to remember that the politicians work for us, and it's not the other way around. We don't work for the politicians. We shouldn't be working for the politicians. But if things continue the way they're going, we will once again be working for the politicians. And that's a very dangerous place to be, and a very dangerous place for the American people to end up. So our rights are being stripped, and it's not a good time. It's not a good time. When the executive official is asked a question about the Constitution of the United States of America, and refuses to honestly answer the question about the oath of office that was taken and sworn in on, regardless of whether or not his hand was placed on the Bible, he said the words. He said the words. And if he does not understand, or if he didn't understand the words he was saying, well, then Americans, we need to go back and rethink the leader that we have, because it affects us all in certain fashions and facets. That holds true for our congressmen, our senators, and everybody from the federal down to the state levels. If they do not understand their oath of office and the promises that they owe and are obligated to the people of the United States of America, they need to be relooked, rechecked, and revoted on and voted out, quite possibly. And maybe they'll figure it out later on in life, but right now is not the time. It's simply not the time. So, see, Deuce, I ain't even use any big words tonight, man. I kept it all copacetic and easy. All copacetic and easy. Because I'm tired. But with that being said, family, as always, we absolutely appreciate you all joining us and being here. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, not Twitter, but Twitch. I got off X. I got off of X. I couldn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got off of X. It was too much.
Yeah, there's only so much that I can handle, and
it spews pure hate.
Yeah.
See, I'm on X.
Yeah,
but I'm not. But remember, when I'm talking, I'm not talking from either side. I'm going at both. But when I go at the right, I know how I have to do it, because that's how I got elected into office. So there's some things that Republicans do correctly. There's some things that Democrats do, because I'm a strong believer in universal health care. And most Republicans are against that. But, when you talk about your Christianity and your belief in God, okay, show me.
How do we read the same Bible? Right. Mm-hmm.
Well,
I got a whole history lesson in that, but I will keep my Spartan reserve. I will keep my Spartan reserve and push forward.
See you in Egypt, or was that Ethiopia, or wherever your family's family came from before they went to West Africa? I'm just saying.
Next time, I think you should bring snacks, Jay Glass. We need some.
Bring snacks.
Yeah.
It's almost time to get the smoker back up and running. Plus, I gotta start getting ready to open my catering business back up. So you never know. We might just be bringing snacks soon. Ooh. We might just
be reinstated. When I'm reinstated, and when y'all see me on TV, you're gonna say, "Oh my God, that boy done got." Oh my God.
I see you changed your name.
He's short.
Oh, Richard.
No, in the parentheses, it said Franz.
Oh, that's my trans white name.
Go get him. We gotta get him.
My name is Franz Spritzenheimer. I'm a trans white man. So in other words, you can accept trans. You can accept me for being a trans white man. So I'm a white man. I'm really a black man, but I'm a white man. But because I'm a white man, I have options.
You identify as.
Now, is your uncle named Ruckus?
Oh!
With reverse vitiligo.
Yeah, reverse
Spritzenheimer.
That's.
I'm telling you, when y'all see me on TV, you're gonna say that dude, he was really legit.
Okay.
When God puts me back in, and I'm on TV going at Gavin Newsom, and I'm gonna clean his clock, and then you're gonna see me address President Trump too, and I'm gonna catch him too. He gonna laugh. He gonna laugh and smile and say, "Hey, I'll work with you."
No, he gonna be like, I don't know who this Richard Franz Frank.
He knows who I am, because I believe in this great country, and we're gonna make America great again, because I'm trying to increase the value of my righteous shareholders, and they are white people up and down the state of California and small rural towns, and their life matters, and it always has mattered in this great country. Oh yes, well, I got something for President Trump.
I had to breathe in. I had to practice my breathing exercises.
And as a descendant of the enslaved African, I know slavery when I see it.
Whoo! Okay.
That part is real.
That part.
Yep. You woke up
Yeah,
then.
well,
You said, "Wait up." James, remember to breathe out longer than you inhale.
I'm coming so fast. If you're on
So,
TV,
exhale 6 to 10.
hey, when you're on TV, you got like 10 seconds, 15 seconds to take somebody's head off. And
Ooh.
that's why when you talk sometimes, I'm talking fast because I'm practicing for that TV camera.
Okay.
They'll take sound bites. They'll take sound bites and they'll run them.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting for
I ain't
life.
know. James, I thought this was a podcast. I ain't know I entered the octagon.
Hey, we
You
fight.
ain't practicing. If you ain't practicing for that TV screen, what you on here for? You're supposed to be developing.
Always.
When you run for office in your district, in your state, whatever you do, you say, well, I didn't take it on crazy ass Richie. Oh, I know I'm ready.
It's gonna be a show.
That might actually be a thing that I do after I retire is look for a public office somewhere.
Oh, that's already done. That's already professed.
Oh yeah. I'll vote for you.
I appreciate that. But
I'll vote for you 5 times.
Oh man, come on now. You can't tell them our secret. We acting like
hold on, you gonna illegally vote? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I'm just gonna
You
cast
go to
my
the
vote
polls,
5 times.
You only knew how many people in this California are voting illegally. That's the truth in this particular state that I'm living in. If you get a driver's license, they send you a ballot. They'd ask you to sign up to be a registered voter.
I can't believe that you still vote by mail. I was just thinking of the anxiety that you went through with all that mess about like people losing ballots and all that. I'm like,
here's what California does. When I vote by mail and I fill it out and I photo scan it and I take it down there, they'll tell me, okay, we just received it and we counted your vote. And they send me electronic confirmation and I put it in my email folder. So I got all my email
that's nice.
votes from 2012 up to now. So when people say, well, hey, you voted for Donald Trump, you did this, you did that. Oh no, you're defaming my character. Because here's the proof on how I voted.
You say you a lie.
Now you'll see me in court. Like I got this one man in court right now. I'm not playing.
With that being said, we appreciate y'all for coming out because Richard was about to go. I can feel him heating up.
I'm done.
He cooking.
I can feel him heating up. I gotta turn that down a little bit. It's time to go to
it's the pot rich, baby. It's the pot rich.
Again, I thank y'all. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Was the record. We're gonna keep it pushing. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Good night.